slap, splash over the wall, and there's a steal coming from Zaxter. Barry going to red side as well, because Emmett Jacimbo is sitting in the spot lane. I mean, you can see the damage that he's doing to this tower. He's kind of just solo playing this.
Ladies, gentlemen, MBs, it's time. We're here. Valpo Esports, League of Legends, NECC Grand Finals versus Bradley University. I'm your host, Dikembe. I'm here with my co-host.
I'm Kilo.
And Valpo, 1 seed, 9-0, going into this Grand Finals game, right? First time that Valpo has ever been in a Grand Finals, let alone a semis, and passing that semis round.
Yeah.
So I have to ask, right? That kind of pressure that we have on this team, how do you think the team's feeling?
I think we're feeling pretty good, right? Very confident this year. We've had a very, very good season to get here. Undefeated throughout the playoffs, has not even lost a single map. So we're feeling really good going into this. Last time we played Bradley, we matched up really well against them and really played our game very well and came out on top in that series. So that's what we're looking to do again here today.
Yep. I mean, you have to be careful, though. Bradley University has knocked off the number 2 and number 3 seed in this division as well. Definitely a comeback story kind of coming in here as the underdogs. We're going to have to see how they play. But, I mean, Valpo coming out strong. We're going to bring out our Game 1 roster right here. And taking a peek here, we have Anaya top lane, Vector jungle, MF Jacimbo mid lane, Thunk Senpai, and Steamroller 14 in that bot lane. I mean, solid lineup overall, but I really want to highlight that Thunk Senpai in that bot lane. We know that with this new patch that dropped just today, Thunk Senpai's number 1 ADC is Zeri. Zeri just received a huge buff. Having that buff now, do you think that Valpo is going to pull it out first game?
Yeah, I mean that's what you really look to, right? That's his comfort pick, right? That and the Jin, right? But Zeri so strong and Thonk Senpai so good at Zeri, right? You really want that to be a prio in this draft, right? To really
Definitely.
like give that bot a good lead, and if you can get that Zeri head, I was talking to him about Zeri. He's like perfect ADC, right? It's about your spatial map awareness and how well you can kite. And
Yep,
Thong Senpai really good at those two things, right? So that's kind of
definitely.
just like mold that champion molds them really well. We are hopping into the draft here with Valpo on the red side.
Valpo on red side, I mean, starting off with the first ban, Caitlyn. Just an ADC that we've seen Bradley University take a lot of the time, but BU Spear, knowing that they do have that Thonk Senpai and that Steamroller combo in that bot lane, know that you want to feed Thonk Senpai. Going with the first ban Lulu, making sure whether it is the Aphelios Lulu or the Zeri Lulu, that Enchanter is just insanely strong right now. We've seen
Yeah.
it throughout this whole NECC league. So overall, triple bans, I mean, we have the Lulu, we have the Syndra, and we have the Aatrox. 3 really strong bands from Bradley's side, knowing that they're trying to just splitting the board here, not really going to focus on one person.
And
But
there's that Zeri that we're talking about, Hovered. I mean, it's kind of a no-brainer, right? The Zeri is so strong this patch, as you said, and just one of Thong Senpai's just best champions right now, ever since she came out, right? And looking over at BU Spear, right? You see the Lux, right? I mean, their support on BU Spear has a very limited support pool, right? Really only playing Lux and Ari
yep,
this entire year, right?
yep,
With maybe a couple like stray games, right? So very limited. So Valpo going in knowing that this Lux it was a very real possibility of being the first pick just because of how limited the the champ pool of the support is. So right now it's going really well. Right, what Valpo really wanted.
and definitely, I mean, banning that Caitlyn first pick as well helps in this bot lane because you know that Zeri's thing with this new patch, while her damage early game and all of her abilities got increased early game, her range has fallen off. You really don't want to get outpoked in the lane, especially knowing that BU likes to run that Caitlyn Lux like you talked about. You can't get picked. Valpo Esports, like we were talking about, Thong Senpai wanting to buff him up a little bit with that Zeri, going with the Soraka pick as our bot lane duo, and BU Sphere probably going to see an Ashe ADC, right?
Yeah.
Again, that chip damage, that poke that you're looking for, that slow, especially on Zeri, who's a really fast character, is
Yeah.
so important in stopping Thung Senpai trying to kite. But, I mean, in reality, we know Thung Senpai.
Yeah.
Nobody stops him kiting.
Yeah.
Nobody.
No. Uh, like you said, even though they banned the Lulu, right? You have the Soraka, right? So if you're getting poked down, who better to heal you than Soraka, right? Kind of just
Definitely.
like her main thing, right? So Zeri should be very healthy in this lane, getting through this laning phase and getting out of this laning phase. Zeri and Soraka late game is pretty scary with the healing that Soraka does and the damage that Zeri brings to
Yep.
the team.
Definitely. I mean, BU Spirit then electing for your third draft to beat Kane. Do know that in this new patch, Kane Blue has been buffed a little bit. The healing
Yeah,
that you get from passing over terrain and the speed that you get as well has been buffed. So, kind of looking for that sustainability and knowing that Kane is a very, very strong jungler, but we haven't seen him much this patch.
yeah. And then we see the Nocturne for Vector, right? Kind of a recent pickup, right? With this new preseason changes, right? He's picked up this Nocturne, looked really well on it. That really indicates that he kind of want to plays towards his bot lane with his fear, his ultimate, right? Really playing towards these team fights and ganking lanes, right?
Yep.
But we do see the Vlad coming out for the ban for Valpo and the Fizz, right? So kind of
Focusing that mid lane.
yeah,
I
focusing
th-
that mid lane, helping Jakimbo, right?
Yep. I think what Valpo has to worry out right now is, especially Bradley as well, you need a tank.
Yeah,
You need someone that's going to tank for you. I mean, we saw Valpo run into a couple of issues last series where they really didn't have any tanks and it kind of slowed that mid game down because they
yeah.
couldn't really initiate anything. But now, Valpo Esports having that mid lane, having that top lane draft, we're probably going to see at least some type of support or shielding, maybe from that mid lane, maybe an Oriana, some type of angle like that. But we might need to see Dreadful pick up a little bit of a tankier person. But actually, never mind. You can just pick
It's
Fiora. I
it's
forgot Fiora was a champion.
it's Anaya.
It's Anaya. That's
Yeah,
right. Oh, my apologies. My apologies, folks. It is Anaya. Which also she does usually elect to take a lot of tank champions, but I can see the Fiora pick coming in here, right? Bradley University, the scouting report that we ran, a lot of the times the champions can get countered by that true damage pick.
yeah.
And Anaya, we know, is very strong on this Fiora. Very, very strong.
And there's that tank for
There's
BU that is the
the
Doctor Mundo,
the
right?
newly adjusted Mundo as well. A lot more of a late game menace right now, especially with the new W that he has. A lot more healing. He can take on a lot more people at once. That's kind of the initiator that Valpo Esports was looking for in these next two picks, and Bradley picked him up.
Yeah. Really, well, you finally have that front line for the Katarina.
Katarina, okay.
I don't think I've seen a Katarina in a
We have
long
not.
time.
We do know that Bradley University's mid laner, I think, is named after one of the Katarina abilities, right?
Oh,
Named
and
after
then the Gragas,
the
right? So there's
Gragas.
your
There's
tank,
the
right?
there's the tank we were
Your
looking for.
tankier
Yep.
option, right? So now you have the Nocturne in the Gragas to really engage for that Zeri, really to just like let her get off free damage, right? Because that's
Yep.
what Zeri does best is when she can pop her R and just get off free damages with her Q and keeping that stacks and that and her alt passive alive,
Yep.
really uh, connecting with her ult.
I think really with these last two picks, Valpo has picked up a really good draft because you have the Anaya Fiora side lane, right?
Yeah,
Super dangerous. Anaya loves the 1v1, especially going in with other laners, just kind of trying to fight them, trying to take them on. And we know that she wins a lot of those fights. So having that side lane pressure from Fiora, one of the best side laners in the game, now you have an initiation with Gragas who can do a little bit of damage too, but somebody like you said that can back up with Zeri, the Nocturne R as well being able to initiate. It's all going to be on team play here. It's all going to be on team play, like a majority of league games, but especially now because Valpo Esports' draft is really tailored around each other. But I mean, speaking about BU, where do you think the draft kind of ranks up?
I think BU has a very, very heavy damage draft, right?
Yep,
So they have that tank in the Mundo, right? But they have the Lux, the Ashe, the Kane, which is most likely going to go blue Kane. Actually, I don't know. It could go blue or red this game, right? Just and then you have the Katarina, right? That so much damage, right? So really, what you're going to look for is getting that Katarina to be able to get into that 5-man team fights and just hitting that R and doing so much damage, right?
definitely.
But if you're on the side of Valpo, you have that Gragas, which can be a really good counter to the Katarina, right? Just chucking that R,
Yep.
right, or knocking her out of her ult, and there goes a lot of her damage, right? But you just have to make sure to play the safe early game, which I think is like the story of Valpo's draft right now. You have to play a really safe early game and not give up a huge lead and kind of just take an even go even into the mid game, right? That's what you're kind of looking for. So then you can carry into that hard late game scaling that Valpo have.
Definitely. I mean, looking at BU's draft as well on Valpo's side, I'm really looking for a Merc triangle.
Yeah,
I'm thinking a Merc triangle for anybody that can build it because you have the Mundo slow, you have the Kane knockup as well. Matters on which form he takes, obviously, but you
yeah,
have the slow or knockup. You have Ash slow and you have Lux root. That's a lot of CC that you can throw down. Maybe not hard CC, but it's a lot of just displacement that you can throw around. So Valpo Esports needs to be able to move through that somehow. And like you said, you have the Zeri move speed, right? You have the Gragas interrupt for that Katarina. It's gonna be a reaction game, right?
yeah,
It's gonna be a teamwork and reaction game because unless Valpo Esports is willing to 5 in or 5 out, right, or maybe 4 in or 4 out, having Fiora on that side lane, it's gonna be really hard if they don't all organize when somebody on Bradley University actually initiates. Because think about it, if Bradley, let's say, like they get a Lux root or something goes down, right?
yeah.
You need to be able to call Gragas knockup. You need to be
Hmm.
able to call Nocturne R. You need to be able to call when Soraka R hops off. You need to be
Yeah.
able to pop Zeri as well, knowing when, hey, we're all inning here, right? That's a lot of team play that's organized around these ults and not so much of a, okay, I'm going to ult now and I can get a solo kill here, right? Or I can ult now here and do this. It's a lot more of a 4v4, 5v5 kind of based team ult.
Yeah, and something that we're not really used to in these types. It's a best of five, right?
Yep,
So this game is going to be a little bit more of an experimental kind of side draft, right? For both sides. Hey, let's just like let's get this like if we're going to try something, you try it in game one, right? Because you have it's not a best of three where you feel like you have to win game one, right?
yep,
So both teams, it looks kind of like the mixture of a little bit of experimental, a little bit of uh of comfort, right? Also, like looking at it like Zeri, right?
yep,
Bennett so gone, like gone in the meta for so long, right?
yep.
And finally back up, right? Do do they know? Do they remember how to play against her, right? Like how? Like the patch just dropped today, right? So they're really have unless they played a lot of games a day. I don't think they played much against Zeri, right?
Oh,
So
definitely.
so how are you gonna react to these new Zeri patches and how they know how to lane against her?
I think that laning phase is especially the most difficult part because Zeri is not like Zeri was before,
Yeah.
right? Zeri is no longer a cold start kind of I'm gonna farm until I hit like 6 and then I'm gonna start rocking, right? Zeri is now a lot more of a lane menace, and
Yeah.
especially with the Soraka sustain, I think that's gonna kind of catch BU off guard, especially considering that they might have been planning for Ordinal to come out this game one,
Yeah.
having Thunk Senpai come out who didn't play that last series and having him come out with a pick like Zeri as well. It's kind of like blindsiding. So
Yeah.
seeing that and seeing that first pick as well, Bradley has to be a little bit on their toes.
Yeah. Uh, Also, for people who don't know about the Zeri changes, one of her main things that makes her so good in the laning phase is her Q. Even though the range on it got shortened, it does more damage, right? So
Yep.
she is poking more and more damage, which really makes her be able to skirmish more early game. So she's not so reliant on that level 6 in that late game.
Yep. And we're definitely going to see that heavy crit chance build because
Yeah.
now with the new Zeri changes, right? Kellowi's talked about the Q changes. W is now also physical damage. It's no
Yeah.
longer magic. So now you can just build straight magic and get use of all of her kit or straight physical and get a use of all of her kits.
Yeah.
And her E now also guarantees a lightning bullets whenever you dash. It does
Yeah.
not have to be over the wall. You get more vision going over the wall as well. Its cooldown is also like 2 seconds earlier now in this early game. You're going to see a lot more action in this bot lane than you usually would if you have been watching Zeri from like 2, 3 patches ago.
Yeah, and another thing with her R, right? Her R got changed, so whenever you would Q somebody or auto attack someone, the you would get stacks on your ultimate passive, right? But now those stacks can deplete and go to zero, even though you still have your ultimate. So you have to constantly keep auto attacking, keep hitting your Qs to keep that stack. So
Yep.
she has to be able to be in the fight the entire time so she doesn't lose those stacks, right?
Yep.
And so that really like lowers her mobility in her ult.
Definitely. I mean, we're going to see a lot more of an active Zeri as we load onto the Rift right now. We are going to take a quick peek at runes. We're going to take a quick peek at the summoner spells we're taking, right?
Yeah.
And we're going to just start moving into it.
Yeah, I think looking at these cane runes is going to tell us right away whether it's going to be red or blue cane, right? Whether we see a conquer, we're probably going to be looking towards a red cane. Yeah, so
Yep.
we are going to be looking mostly towards a red cane. Um, we do see the ghost on Zeri, which pretty normal. No TP for the mid laner, right? So uh, Jakimbo is going to have the mid lane TP advantage just from the very start, which is uh, is very nice because he can get better back times, right? He can
Yep.
get better and more forgiving back times than the Katarina. So the Katarina really has to play this lane really well to make sure she isn't losing a bunch of XP and CS in the mid lane.
Yep. I mean, we see Katarina going with the Dark Seal start as well. Just looking to bully. I mean,
Yeah,
although you have to consider both Gragas and Katarina are not good early game champs.
yeah,
They are really, really bad early game champs compared to like laning phases and such, right?
yeah.
Usually with Katarina, you have to play slow until you get that chance to roam. You get that chance to ignite, right? Just drop a kill or two, get that Dark Seal, and it would not be Valpo Esports if we didn't have a pause right before one of the games. So we're gonna check out really quick the chat to see what's going on.
We do have mic issues
Mic
on the
issues,
side of Valpo.
and it makes sense. I mean,
Yeah,
we something has to go wrong, but usually
yeah,
that's a good thing.
yeah.
That's a good thing. Every time that something has gone wrong, we have won. So I'm trying to take the positive here, but speaking a little bit more about matchups here, right?
Mhm.
You talked about the red cane, but what do you think we're looking for with Nocturne's pathing?
So a Nocturne's pathing, right? You see him kind of starting up towards, um, towards the top side, right? But even though Zeri has a much stronger early game now, right? You are playing against an Ashe Lux, so that is a very like poke heavy, push heavy type
30
of lane,
seconds until
right?
minions
So
spawn.
what I think will happen is he will path down to see if he can catch out uh the Ashe Lux in the bot lane, right? And then take advantage of the stronger Zeri early game, right?
Definitely.
Um,
You also have to consider as well if he is pathing that bot, knowing that Katarina did not take teleport here.
yeah.
You can get her to take a really, really long back if you
Oop,
get a successful gank off.
have a little bit of a freeze there. Looks like we're good though.
Yep, we should be fine
Minions
as
have
of
spawned.
now, but I mean, walking in, having some fun, having some fun today. The idea
Yeah.
is that we want a good match, we want a competitive match, and this should be a great game, quite frankly. I mean, we have the undefeated Valpo Esports against the underdogs at Bradley, who have upset two teams in this
Yeah.
tournament already. I mean, they are no pushover. They are definitely going to be a challenge today for Valpo Esports, but we'll have to see how team play factors into this.
Yeah, Vapo just needs to make sure that they're not underestimating their opponents, right? You have to go in with confidence, right, that you are going to win, but you can't undermine your opponent uh, early. So I think Valpo really just needs to play their game, right?
Yep.
Not let not let BU's like them getting to the final upsetting, get in their head, just play their game, and it should go very well for Valpo.
Yep, and we're having a couple of early trades here. You see MF Kimbo taking that electrocute, trying to just play off that early game a little bit better as well, especially maybe with the scaling runes that you could take from it. Another electrocute going off, but the counter as well. You're kind of seeing why we take these picks, but the CS is going to get pushed to Gragas' side.
Yeah. We do see both junglers starting full clearing their red side, with Kane going Raptors to Krugs, then to red buff, but and then the Nocturne going red buff to Krugs to Raptors. But both junglers are opposite pathing, right? So you do see that Nocturne going towards the bot lane, um, and maybe able to after this either look for that mid lane gank or that bot lane gank, depending on like where the lane state is. Right now, it looks like the Zeri and Soraka have the push in the lane, though.
Yep. As long as Zeri and Soraka can hit that level 3 as well, they can push up that lane.
Yeah,
because you have the Zeri getaway as well. And as long as you just don't leave Soraka hanging at the end,
yeah,
you can make a lot of ganks unsuccessful. You see Anaya and Firehawk trading a lot in this top lane as well. It's a really scrappy lane, right?
yeah,
You have a lot of sustain from Mundo's kit, especially the new readjusted kit. But oh, a big electrocute right there from the mid lane. You have that, but as well, I mean, Fiora's healing from the vitals that she gets is just dirty,
yeah.
right? I mean, one of the best champs in the game at this moment.
If you're a Nai here, though, you have to watch out because you are playing against a Kane, right? So he can go through walls uh, when you're not really expecting a gank, right? You're always expecting or used to the through the river or in the bush, right? He can just go straight through the walls and catch you off guard. Um, and with a person like Kane, right, you kind of want to gank early so you can get your form much faster.
Yep, and we're seeing that gank right now. It looks like they're gonna try and shove this wave and try to catch Fiora
Yeah, there's
underneath, but
Naya good awareness to just play back, stay under tower, right? Um, I think, and then good look at Nocturne on the minimap, sees that Kane is up top, and so he's like, well, I'm just gonna get some free chickens, right?
take some farm.
He knows that Kane starts chickens, right?
Yep.
And so it's gonna be the first to respawn.
We are going
But
to have another gank in this mid lane as well. The dash in from Katarina and a couple of shots on MF Kimbo taking a lot of damage here, but being able to trade some tower shots as well, evening out that trade. And now Nocturne is pinging for a little bit of help. Katarina may get caught out here. Vector coming in with the fear, the knockup from Kane, the dash in, the flash over the wall by Katarina, but the dash as well from MF Kimbo looking for another hit, the flash and
flash,
knock, but the tower shot taking the kill for Katarina. First blood still going to Gragas, but Vector might get caught out a little bit here, having the
gets a
flash.
flash. Here comes a Fiora. Doesn't look like much is gonna happen, but like we said, right? Jakimbo does have the option to use the teleport here, which he is going to, which Katarina does not have the option to.
Yep.
So that's really big for Jakimbo to be able to TP and get some free farm, while Katarina just has to walk slowly back to lane.
Yep. You did get the flash out of Vector, which probably won't be up for this next dragon fight, which could
Yeah.
be kind of huge, but you're always going to take a flash and a 2-for-1 rather than no flash and a 1-for-1,
Yeah.
right? So, or sorry, a flash and a 1-for-0 rather than no flash and a 1-for-1.
Yeah.
And like you talked about, not having that teleport, forcing her to get back, giving this advantage to Gragas, especially with the flash, the kill now as well. Dashing in, having 6. Emma Chikimbo also having 6. Maybe look for an R back in the tower. There it is. And then knock, but missing the auto.
Oh, but
Getting a
he gets,
shot in, trying to run her down.
yeah, Gragas is someone that you have to be careful with because like he seems a bit squishy.
And we got a lot of damage going off with Zeri. Zeri's just running in, getting exhausted. The Ignite also coming out as well. Using that lightning from the E, but it looks like Kane will pick up the kill here as well.
Yeah.
Quick start, Ashe going 1, Kane getting 1 as well. Successful gank coming from Kane on that side.
Yeah, Kane is just so fast and so good at ganking because he can go through those walls.
Yep,
I
and
don't think
another
Valpo
kill by
will-
MF
oh
Chikimbo
my.
in this mid lane. I mean, we're talking about it. He took that electrocute, trying to get that early damage. Having that TP as well, coming back with those better items.
Yeah,
This
I
is
mean,
dangerous.
and when you're Katarina, you start Dark Seal and you're 1 and 2, right? But you have 0 stacks on that, so that really doesn't feel good for you. But it feels really good for Jakimbo
Yep.
on this Gragas, playing really well in this lane.
Yep. And I mean, we saw Kane was looking for that mid lane after taking that top, right? So
Yeah.
it makes sense why Katarina would take that Dark Seal, right? You're expecting to get pathed out, you're expecting to get a little bit of damage off, maybe pick up an early kill and an assist for Katarina, start stacking that Dark Seal, but the gank just didn't go their way. I mean, good for Kane, though, being able to walk to that bot lane and also pick up something there. Speaking of that bot lane gank, it looked like there was just a little bit of miscommunication on Valpo's side, not really knowing if they were going to go in and kind of all in, just try to pick up as much as they could before Kane got them, or if Soraka was running back.
Yeah. Another thing to look at, right, is after that death, Thong Senpai picks up the coal. So
Yep.
a pretty late game a late start Cole, right? Usually, if you're gonna pick the Cole, right, you're gonna go early, right? But
But
he kind of just got a feel for the lane and been like, okay, we don't really have kill like pressure in this lane, so this Cole will help me get towards that mid game and late game that I need as Zeri.
And I mean, when you get the opportunity, a lot of the times, if you're going to back and you have the money for it and there's not really a better buy available to you, Cole is a
Yep.
great option, right? Especially with a scaling champ like Zeri who needs like 2 items, maybe 3 to start really get going, right? Needs that IE.
Yeah.
Picking up Cole late is just a different type of option. I wouldn't say it's worse or better than early, but it's just a way to play.
Yeah.
I mean,
Are
obviously,
gonna
it's a way
see.
to play.
Yeah. We are gonna see some pings going around this Herald. Uh, but ooh, we do see the Nocturne invading the top side or the blue side jungle of BU. Nothing gonna
Probably
happen though.
Probably just looking for a little bit of vision, maybe. Try to feel out where this Kane is. Kane is pretty low here. Probably going to get a little bit of heal from climbing over the wall, but Nocturne's posting up around that Rift Herald, trying to figure out what's going on. Vector, both of them looking mid lane. These jungles have been pretty synced up recently. Both of them walking back as well. It's kind of
Oh, we
funny.
do see
It's like watching a mirror match.
Vector does have his R here, and he is pinging towards the bot lane, so do expect an R gank here.
Yep.
But it does look like uh, from the pings that BU do expect it, right? So their bot lane is backing off, not giving this free this free gank for the Nocturne.
And I mean, you see the vision that is around that dragon. You know that Nocturne's pathing down to that Infernal Drag.
Yeah.
So a couple of pings going off, and I think Vector knows that as well. Is electing to back off, clear a couple waves, knowing that there's not really a gankable lane at this moment for any of them where you know you can secure a kill.
Yeah.
So get that farm, pick up that stuff, and delay the dragon a little bit longer until somebody forces.
Yeah, 10 minutes does seem a bit longer for first dragon.
Yep.
So
Really objectives in general.
yeah, so maybe start of the dragon sometime soon.
Yep.
Um,
I mean, one team is gonna have to get there.
yeah,
If they take this too long, I mean, we haven't talked about scaling champs yet. Obviously, you have the Red Kane, who can
yeah,
kind of just 1v9. You have the newly adjusted Mundo, who now has so much late game potential, so much like 1v9 potential. Maybe not for kills, but just being able to take aggro from a lot of people. And the Katarina, who can do a ton of damage late game, compared to you have the Zeri and the Fiora.
yeah,
So I think that really, late game, this is a toss-up here. We'll have to see about these kind of adjusted champs, but
yeah. And you're delaying. The thing with getting first dragon so late, right, is you're delaying that soul.
Yep.
Right. So both teams are gonna take longer to scale because they won't be able to get that soul.
and you have
But we
both
do get
R's
the
come out in this
flash.
top lane, and the R is coming out in the bot lane as well. You see Zeri start to move around using the E to kite out a little bit, but not really being able to get past those minions, getting a lot of damage off here. Steamroller a little bit low. The flash coming out from Ash. Ash forcing the Walker back. The slow, but the flash coming out to dodge the Lux route. It looks like
Yeah,
it's just going to be a little bit of a stalemate here in this bot lane.
yeah. Really, not a lot of mana for the Lux, but was able to get that the root off and be able to force that flash out of Zeri. So Zeri now having no flash, which can be pretty big, right? Because you do have that Ash ult, right? And you do have another chance to hit that Lux ult.
Yep.
So that flash is a huge cooldown to get down for BU.
And look at it, we have Kane freezing this top lane, trying to look for this Fiora stopper back, but because of that, we have Nocturne pinging that Infernal Drag, saying, hey, if you guys can get a little bit of pressure here, I can gank this, right? Just bait out a little bit. Yep, there's the bait ping that we're looking for. Bait out a
Yep.
little bit, try and get them. And Nocturne, you pretty much have a free ultimate right here, but knowing that Katarina is moving down, and there's the R and the flash as well on Lux, trying to get that fear, getting the Walker back, and Zeri will maybe pick up this kill. There's the kill, but a lot of damage coming out. Steamroller taking a lot of shots. Silence going out. Katarina is running down. You have to be careful about an E and then an R coming down here. Maybe being able to pick up. Steamroller is in
able
a
to
bad
dodge the
position here,
Ash
getting
R.
out. The knock-up as well. Katarina going down. Gragas coming in, clearing up from the backside, and that is going to be a 3-for-1 trade going in Valpo's favor. Probably clearing enough to get this drag.
Ooh, that's so close on the Dr. Muda.
Little bit of health. Little bit of health.
But still, what a great play from Valpo.
You do have to be careful here, though. Kane is still hovering this side. The play might not be over yet.
Yeah, and he can go through the walls.
Yep.
So you do have to watch out.
Yep. They
This
are
Mundo,
dragging it out.
this Mundo does have to be careful though.
Yep. You
Does
have to be.
pop R?
Yep, Mundo just trying to get a little bit of missing health back. Uh, Anaya running him down. I mean, we know how aggressive Anaya is. And there's the smite on the dragon. First dragon, Infernal Drag, going to Valpo Esports' side. Overall, really, really good fight for them, especially starting off this match. Talking about this top lane, we expected Anaya to be a lane bully. We
Yeah.
expected her, especially with the champ matchup that she has. Taking this Fiora into a very tank like Mundo, the true
Hmm.
damage that you can pop off with. A couple of shots around. Kimbo looking for a little bit of a shot, but we have Kane in the background. A couple of electrocutes going off. There's the R from
Oh, so
Katarina getting the
close.
shutdown on Gragas. You see that he used that dash already and
Yeah.
not having that interrupt. Katarina, good read on her side, being able to kill that. The R coming out from Fiora, just using it as a little bit of a distraction, trying to get away so she can get it back here in a reset. Probably looking for Ravenous first item.
Yeah, this Katarina. Okay, this knockdown is just gonna back up, but
Yep.
yeah. Usually we see Anaya as a lane boy, right? But this Mundo has been able to do a very, very good job of kind of just like staying, not really getting bullied, right? You know, he is trading health for CS, right? But he is staying pretty even with Anaya, so he is playing this lane really, really well. Not very often do we see Anaya really go even or kind of lose a lane, right? Usually
Yep.
she at least gets a kill, right? And that's really what she's missing from this lane. Um, but but if you look towards this mid lane, right? Both mid laners have 3 kills, but you see that 20 CS diff that mid
Yep.
lane,
I mean,
right?
we want to look at gold distribution for these teams. You have the gold on the Katarina, and you have a little bit of gold on that Kane and that Ashe, right? Which is good.
Yeah,
But for Valpo's side, you have the early gold on Gragas, and you have the early gold on Zeri, two very strong team fighters.
yeah,
So these first couple objectives, it makes sense that if you're able to group up like we saw them group up earlier, you can win these trades because of that gold distribution. And there's the R coming in from Lux and the R from Ashe as well, stunning on Steamroller, the Ignite and the Exhaust coming out for both ADCs, the TP coming in from Gragas in this mid lane, looking to go up, getting the kill on Ashe, and then
oh my
Zeri securing
goodness,
the kill on Lux. Great trade and great communication right there from Valpo's side. And of course you saw TP diff.
yeah.
Katarina did not have time to come down there.
Yeah, you just saw the TP. The communication from Valpo was great there,
But
right?
he may have just stayed a little bit too long. Dunk Senpai sitting there. The silence on Kane rooting and flashing
It's the
in.
flash. You got to be careful because this Zeri will outkite you.
Yep. Katarina
But
is looking to maybe sit in that bush. Maybe kind of dash out, but
I don't
might
think
have just
that's.
been a little bit of a miscommunication.
Yeah,
You do have Nocturne and Gragas coming down this side. We might have a little bit of an engage here. Zeri and the
yeah.
Soraka electing to stay. Zeri going up to help a little bit with the DPS. Kane kind of sitting to the wall. The missed Gragas. And then dash up as well. Dunk Senpai is now back in. The
Oh
Gragas
my
are into the
goodness.
queue. Oh my goodness.
Bomba!
Bomba.
What a great, what a great
Yeah,
like
that's
couple of
calculated.
minutes. A great couple of minutes from Valpo, right? Great communication, right? You start off with what you think is going to be a dead Soraka, right? Lives. You get that TP advantage in the mid lane that Jakimbo has. He TP's down and is able to get the kill.
Oh, and the
that's a
dash
huge
in,
shutdown.
he just got a little bit too aggressive there,
Yeah.
dashing in under that tower, not expecting Katarina to kind of bite into that. Especially if he had hit that Q earlier, would have been a little
Yeah.
bit more of a risky trade. But I think just playing a little bit dangerous here, going with the full AP Gragas with the
Yeah.
Ludens. Mundo kind of looking here. We'll get a smite out from red side, and Vector picking
Ooh.
up the drag, but the R coming in from Ashe from the other side. And on Anaya. Anaya Wing in, but Katarina picks up another kill. Katarina is starting to get really dangerous here. The knockup as well on Vector. 6-3 Katarina. She has picked up almost every kill this game out of the 8 kills. What we talked about gold distribution. None of that really matters if Katarina
Yeah.
is 10 kills above everyone else. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it just seems like if Jakimbo is not there in the team fight, right, then the Katarina just takes over the team fight,
Yep.
and there's not really a great counter for that, right? Because if you're if you're Zeri, right, your whole thing is to kite and to get away, but Katarina's so good at jumping on top of you, right?
Yep.
So you don't really have that anymore. But so that kill that Katarina got in that mid lane on Jakimbo was huge. for BU to be able to get something back from losing that Herald.
I think what we're seeing right now with Valpo is a lot of the
Oh, would you
times.
see that? Look at the Gragas flank right here.
Yep, Gragas is coming down as well. You have the R come out from Zeri, getting a couple of shots, getting the kill on Lux, but it looks like he just missed Ash.
Have to watch out for this Katarina, though.
Yep, you have to be careful though. Anaya does get a good W on that Kane knockup, stopping it. Anaya having to flash out, the Nocturne coming in, Kane R coming out, healing him a lot. It looks like Valpo might have to back up here. Kane kind of dashing in. Another engage on this bot side as well. The knockup and the shutdown going to Gragas from Katarina. A lot of damage. Kane just healing is insane. Anaya coming in again. The W trying to stop him. The R coming out from Anaya. Another dash up and W. Kill on
The
Anaya.
heal.
The healing gets it as well. And the double kill coming from Anaya in the top lane. Insane play. Way to drag that out. The Ash R just coming in a little bit too late there.
That was huge from Anaya to be able to hit that art on the Kane and actually proc it to be able to get that heal, to be able to also take down the Dr. Mundo. That was looking very scary for Valpo. You were thinking maybe they lose this, right? This Kane is looking pretty strong.
Yep.
But not only that, they get the 2 there. They also get that huge shutdown on Katarina. And they get the dragon, right?
Yep.
So great all around the map team play from Valpo.
I mean, we did have Vector support there, but Anaya, being able to kite around, hit those vitals, her movement and her use of the W was insane in that fight. Being able to stop those knockups from Kane, stop that kind of ability spam that you usually see from Red Kane that's healing him, and get those stuns off, get those slows off, dash around, and then landing the R, landing those vitals on Kane, getting the kill, proccing that to heal through the Mundo kills as well. Heal through the Mundo damage, being able to pick up the double kill. Huge, giving her the lead, Divine Sunder or Tiamat, and there's the Merc Treads we were looking for.
Yeah, just want to look at Zeri's build, right? She already has 2 items, right? Huge already. 20.
Yep.
So, but she also has a Boots of Swiftness, right? Not
Yep.
something you see very often on the Zeri, right? You're more looking towards the Berserkers
Yep.
for that attack speed. But the Zeri realized how important her move speed is this game and ability to kite. So
Yep.
she is going to go with that Swiftness.
You have to remember that, I mean, what I'm thinking Thunk Senpai is imagining right now is a scenario where you really don't have much frontline to you.
Yeah.
If Gragas is going that full AP, which makes sense being fed, right?
Yeah.
If you're going to have 6 kills at 20 minutes, you want to have full damage. You want to be able to carry your team's damage, but knowing that Thunk Senpai is going to have to fend for his own. Picking up those Boots of Swiftness, while it might be a comfort pick for him as well, you have to be thinking, I have to get myself out of situations that I don't like. And the dash in on MF Chikimbo as well, a lot of shots winning that trade. Just kind of walking around trying to win this here. Nocturne and Kane and Mundo coming down to this third lane. It's going to be a 4v3 if Valpo decides to engage this. Fiora is still top lane. The Rift Herald is dropped in this mid lane, probably finishing that. A huge R into the middle, getting that Katarina knockup from Kane as well. Evening this, the Ash R coming in as well. The interrupt on the Lux R. Nocturne coming in, signing them. Kane getting a lot of shots here. Knocked up, double kill to Kane. And the triple kill. And the tower going to Zeri. We're seeing that kiting damage that we have. 2 item Phantom Dancer. The speed is insane.
20-minute Baron. This is a
20-minute Baron. You're popping off. This is everything that Valpo needed in this game 1 right now. Playing really just comfortably. You saw, right, we talked about it. You don't really want to take that 4v3, but right as Gragas got that pick, right as MF Chikimbo threw that nasty R, that's his second nasty R he's had this game. Second nasty R into a Q, getting that pick turned the tides completely. Now you have momentum, now you have a 3v3, you have Fiora coming down as well. That's a fight you want to take, and Valpo knew that.
Yeah, right now, the way this game is going, Katarina was your main damage, right? And once you pick her off, they don't really have a lot of damage, right? And the Zeri is so strong that she was able to just do so much damage. Just the entire team was able to get so much damage on. And BU really had no response to it, right? Yep. And so there was a nice Ash arrow, but from BU, but you couldn't really, it didn't really matter in the end.
Definitely. I mean, you already had the momentum there, and we might see a little bit of an aggressive pick here coming from Vector, knowing that the Luxury is out. There's the R coming out, just trying to get stopped. The flash coming out, but Thunk Senpai hitting the W over the broken tower. Kane is there, but a little bit late, as it's going to be a 3v2 in this mid lane.
Yeah,
a great W.
I was talking to him before the game, and he's like, the W on Zeri is broken. and you kind of just saw it there. But, I mean, let's talk about Vector right there. Seeing that the root miss, right? Instant ult, go on her,
Yep.
knowing like that is her only way to stop people from getting on top of her. I- And that was just a great read by Vector to be able to get that play done.
Yep. And
Oh,
seeing the
and the
vision
back
right there,
stopped.
stopping that back, knowing that Kane is there, Mr. Kimbo pretty confident in taking this fight, being 2 levels over and having Lich Bane as well. Um, I mean, 1 minute 10. It is Mountain Soul,
Yeah,
right? That is huge for
that is
Valpo
huge.
Esports.
That's also huge if BU. This is a way to get back in the game, right?
True, true.
Because you have the Dr. Mundo, right? You have the Red Cane, right? Those are two people that benefit massively from the Mountain Soul.
Yep.
So
Support on
Valpo,
support violence right here,
oh
and Lux
my,
is gonna get picked out again.
that is that is a
3v1 in that lane.
that is a Fed Gragas.
Yep, but that is a huge pick as well, forcing her to come back. I mean, the only way that she's really in this fight is if she lands another R. The R coming out from Mundo as well. Anaya taking a couple of shots. The R coming out from Fiora. A ton of healing. The R coming back from Mundo. Wing.
Oh,
Another damage. The R coming out, knocking
my.
Fancy Steel back in, getting the kill on Katarina. Kane jumping into MF Kimbo, trying to heal Vector with the fear, but not being able to hit, forcing them back under the towers, clearing enough wave. There's the R from Dog Senpai dashing in, exhaust
So
on
much
Dog.
damage. The TP from the Dr. Mundo is coming in though.
Yep, but I don't think it'll be enough. It is still a 4v2, 4v3 until Lux
Oh
gets
my
back into this lane.
goodness.
Fiora having to walk this.
So much damage coming from the Zeri.
Yep. And you're seeing Zeri now start to zone with her kite. Obviously,
Yeah.
Thunk Senpai very comfortable with the movement, very comfortable dashing around, dodging abilities. So now that you give him the chance to come and pressure people, hey, you have to hit those Mundo Qs. If
Yeah.
you don't slow him, if you don't slow him with the Kane W either, he's just going to keep running you down.
Yeah, and I think this is really really bad for BU, right? You have no dragons to Valpo's 3, right? They are on Soul Point, but and Baron's up in 3 minutes, but this gold lead very very massive, right? You have that 5K gold lead, and when Zeri backs, I think she's able to buy IE,
That's
which is
what
a
I'm looking for.
huge power spike for Zeri, gonna do even more damage than she already is. Yeah, there's that IE.
There's the IE. All right,
That
it's
is-
game time.
That is
It's
so
game
strong
time.
for Zeri.
Let's see it, Thunk. Let's see it. You have the IE on Zeri now. She becomes one of the strongest champs, especially in this new patch. I mean, the rain was over for a little bit. The
Yeah.
rain was a little bit tough, especially on Thunk, having a lot of his characters fall out of that meta, maybe par like Kaisa, but it's time.
Yeah.
He's back, and we're seeing it right now. The 8-1, and then an amazing performance from MF Kimbo as well this game. 8-3-4, hitting those clutch R's in those team fights, being able to play for his team. Really, all we're looking for right now from Valpo. This is exactly what you want.
Yeah. If you're BU though, you just want to slow this game down and get your Katarina and your Mundo and your Kane scaled up, right? But if you're Valpo, you want to push. You want to push. You want to keep pushing. You want to keep using your gold lead. You want to keep pushing for these objectives.
And we're
You wanna
seeing
keep
the damage right here,
doing
almost
that.
killing the,
Oh
almost killing
my.
Lux. Mundo is there right there. If that root doesn't hit, I mean, it's over.
That
for
is
that Lux.
confidence right there. That is
Yep.
that is just like straight up confidence that Valpo is showing right now.
Yep, I mean, we know Thunk Senpai how he likes to play, right? If he
Yeah.
thinks he can kill you, he doesn't hesitate. It's one of the strongest things about him. And right there, who cares? He knows who's on vision. He knows who doesn't. He's willing to take that risk, especially knowing that Steamroller is following up right behind him.
Yeah. Yeah. But if you're Valpo, right? Baron up in 55 seconds, right?
Yep.
Honestly, you just go and start playing towards that. But they are going to look for this Katarina. They're like, hey, you're not allowed to be up here by yourself.
You
right?
can't allow her to farm. You have to watch out though. If she gets a good angle for her R, it's gonna be tough. There's
And
the
there's
R to
R
get her
gone.
away. Thunk Senpai is here as well, trying to
With that-
dash up a little bit, probably looking for an E over this wall based on where Katarina runs. Katarina just trying to stall out the R as the rest of her team comes in. Another
But
dash in
Nocturne
as
does
well.
have-
The Ash over the wall, the flash from Mema Chikimbo picking up the kill on Katarina. The BU being forced to back up a little bit here.
Huge from Steamroller on the Soraka to be able to mitigate that damage that the Lux was able to do on the Zeri, right? Keep her kind of healthy. And if you're Valpo, you just walk again straight to the Baron, right?
Yep.
You have Zeri really good at getting this objective. A lot of damage on this to be able to shred this Baron, and no Katarina up for this Baron either. Looking pretty free, right? Especially with the Dr. Mundo just backing, right? And if you're Valpo, you're pretty confident that you could just turn this, right?
Yep, because you have the IE right now, right? You have the pressure coming out, especially having Fiora coming down from that top lane. There's the Ashe R coming in, being able to stun Vector, but I mean maybe a little bit early of a use. It's kind of hard without having vision. A couple of pressures, but I mean they have to know. There's red team. Kane was looking for the steal there, but Vector just outsmiting. The Kane R as well. Vector coming in, hitting in the back line, dashing in on that Ashe, trying to get this Charmin as well. The flash, double kill coming out, but Katarina doing a lot of damage, dashing back on Nocturne. A fight coming up in this top lane as well. Mundo getting knocked off by that R, not having his passive. Emma Jakimbo just bonking down on him, picking up that double kill. And that's going to be 3 people down.
That is so much damage on the side of Valpo, right? I mean, you saw the Nocturne just be able to walk up to the Ashe and just kill the Ashe and the Lux, right?
Yep.
Even the Katarina wasn't able to take down the Nocturne after doing that. Huge. And if you're Valpo, right, you just push these lanes, right? Like
Yep.
you see on the bot lane, right? You just get these towers and you just suffocate them in their base.
This makes me happy. This
Yeah.
puts a smile on my face because this is not the widest gold lead that we've seen Valpo have, right? Not
Yeah.
by any margin, especially considering this is a championship game. There's a huge art from Ashe coming in from that top side. Kane just being able to free smack on Jakimbo, trying to get this shutdown. The dash in as well. The Lux R, but Katarina picking up the shutdown.
And that's huge for BU because Dragon is up in 15 seconds, right?
Yep.
And you're not going to have that if you're not going to have Gragas up for Dragon, right? And that's another way to get back in this game, right? Is to not only get the Dragon, right, but you get that bounty gold, but you have to watch out for this Fiora.
I was about to
Deadly at
say,
split pushing, like you talked about.
you have to be careful because even if they give this drag, right, it is 3-1. If you give this Dragon, Anaya still has free roam in this top lane.
Yeah.
This Lux will die in like 2 shots if she stays.
Yeah. I'm not leaving the Lux against the Fiora.
Yep.
Personally.
And Vector might be looking for a steal here for Soul Point. I mean, we know that he likes to flash over. He does not have flash, but it looks like he's trying to get in. Just kind of running around this wall. And Kane does
so close.
Kane picks up the flash.
HP.
Yep. You have to be careful though.
But there's a Fiora who got the kill.
Anaya did just pick up a solo kill. So this fight,
Dog Senpai!
Dog Senpai is just dashing around. He's too quick. You can't catch him. You gotta run. You gotta run, Mundo. It's too late. You can't run. Dog Senpai going insane.
Oh my God! Is it
Actual
always
movement? I don't think he's done.
It's always so fun watching this man on the Zeri. He's so good on Zeri,
Hey,
as you saw in that team fight.
I was saying.
He's not done.
Oh, he's not done. He's willing to try and take this Kane. He knows that Soraka is behind him. The silence as well. Couple of shots out. Watch out. Kane is going to heal a lot from here. Getting the kill on this steamroller.
We got the Gragas.
Gragas is over the wall.
Oh!
The Dog Senpai picking up the shot with Gragas dashing over the wall. I mean, that's just knowing where your teammates are, right? Knowing that you can take that fight. Well, hey, RIP to Steamroller. Sorry about that, man.
Support death.
Take one for the team.
The support death right there.
The support
Giving
death.
it for your ADC.
Look at that. Look at that stat line. 0, 3, and 21. Look, Eamon, I know you hate playing support, but man, we love it.
He's good at it.
We
so
love
good.
him playing Enchanters, dude. We love him playing Enchanters.
Yeah,
But
this game is starting to get really out of hand, right? You have about an 8K gold lead for Valpo, 3 dragons, right? Two BUs, 1, right? You have a 2-level lead on the Fiora over the Mundo, right?
Yep.
Huge. You have 2-level lead on the Zeri over the Ashe. Huge. You have a 3-level lead on the Soraka over the Lux. Massive, right? So, and for Valpo, right, you have your gold on the right people. You have your gold on the carries. You have it on the Zeri and you have it on the Gragas, right? 2 people that have shown that they can do a lot of damage, with the Gragas even looking like he can one-shot people.
And I has to be careful here, knowing that Kane is hovering, not having vision. But it looks like they are going to just push this mid lane. A couple of shots come out. The Ashe are getting Nocturne in the front. Really dangerous if the team had been there, because Nocturne is not exactly the tankiest. The knock-up on Thong Senpai, but 4 people right behind him.
Yeah.
A little bit dangerous. The chair thrown over the wall there by Mundo. And Lux, oh no. Oh no.
Oh,
Oh. The flash from Emma Chikimbo.
That
I think a mistake.
little goofy,
I,
if you ask
I
me.
think it was being a little bit silly there, but we're gonna have a couple of people collapse on this mid lane. Maybe a fight over red buff, trying to get Zeri this red buff. Not sure why, but there's the shot, and they might be able to engage here. Honestly, if they engage this,
You have to watch out top lane, right? Those super minions pushing in, right? So that Katarina has to go answer that and
yep,
can't stay with the team. So now you're looking at a 5v3 fight, um, favoring Valpo heavily.
yep. You see how Valpo is splitting a 3-2 lane, right?
Yeah.
Knowing that there are three defending this bot lane, you have Katarina top lane. Might as well push out these waves, right? And I feel like if they take one more win, if they take one more fight, a good fight for them, they could take this game immediately.
Yeah, and if you're Valpo, right? Baron's in 40 seconds,
And there's
right?
the Gragas art coming out as well. We have a little bit of a league error here. Gragas art coming out, couple of engages, not really much happening, just a couple of chips. It seems that, I mean, Kane getting this back up here. Nocturne going with the back as well. We might see one more back before a couple of kills, but never mind. You have the pick on Lux. You have a 4v5. Nocturne's still taking the back, though. Might elect to maybe go for this Baron, or
He's
maybe
feeling
just
it. That
straight end
recall,
this.
he was feeling it. He was
Oh,
getting a
yeah.
little groovy.
Oh, Space Group Gragas is groovy. Come on now. I love that skin.
Oh
Especially
my.
a couple of shots. The Ashe are hitting,
Oh.
but the quick W from Anaya being able to see that from across the screen. They're a couple of dashes away, knowing that Kane is there. The flash and the flash,
Yeah,
stopping the
but
slow.
Valpo's just gonna get this Baron really, because who's gonna stop him, right?
Yep.
I mean, if you're Valpo, right, you trade, you basically get this Baron and then you go straight to Dragon, right?
Yep.
And
you
then
have
you
the
win the game.
you have the TP up from Fiora as well. This is a fight that you want to take, and I don't think really anyone's going to contest it, maybe other than Kane. If Kane
Yeah.
can steal this here, that's a huge delay that his team might be able to get back, but I really don't see that happening if they pressure properly. And red
Nope.
team does take Baron, and there's the pick on Steamroller, though, but Nocturne being able to pick up that Baron finally. Couple
Oh
of
my
shots in
goodness.
this bot lane.
This
Ashe is
healing
here
from
as
the
well.
Mundo.
Yep, I'm telling you, these Mundo adjustments have been nasty. A lot of shots to the W coming from Anaya. She's 1v2ing right now.
Yeah, as you do not want to be up close and personal with a Fiora, you will never win that.
Yep. And, I mean, Baron does go over, but that kill on Soraka, not having that healing, it's going to stop him a little bit, but this is Soul Point. Hey, thanks about, oh my goodness. Okay, sorry, Lux. They're coming in.
Yeah.
A couple of shots in. We're gonna look, and there's
The steal! The
there's the
steal!
steal from Vector, taking Soul Point. Anaya double kill. Kane picking up a kill on Nocturne as well. The knock-up, trying to just survive a little bit, but Thong Senpai picking up another kill.
I think that's just game, right? If you're Naya, right, you just TP
That
top
should be
lane.
game.
You should just TP top lane, right, and get this as your team just
get in
pushes
there.
mid lane.
Get in there as fast as you can. It doesn't look like she will TP top lane,
I
but
don't
you
know
do
why
have you do have Barry buff
Yeah,
mid lane,
that's-
so might as well just get in there.
Now you have the TP coming from her, right? And if you're
Yep.
Valpo, you just suffocate them and you just push this for the end, right?
And if I mean, this might be game right here, unless Bradley can put up a little bit of a fight. I really don't see much happening here.
Yeah,
Kimbo
just
kind of
so much
sitting in the
turret
turret,
damage.
but taking the nice Zanyas there. Katarina also forcing the Zanyas. A lot of chip damage coming out.
Oh
Dog
my
Senpai just
goodness.
dashing around. You can't catch him. You
Dog
can't catch him. You can't stop him. He's going to do whatever he wants. Game 1, going to Valpo University. I mean,
Thonk Senpai is him.
he is him. He is him. I mean, we also saw that Gragas mid lane as well. Just insane pop-offs from both teams. We talked about it all that game. Biggest thing was gold distribution.
Yeah.
Right? You got the gold on that Gragas for those early game fights, and then you got the kills to Zeri. You weren't able to last hit, you weren't able to steal it. You got the gold that she needed to get those item spikes. And I mean, right as we saw that IE happen, she became a menace. We do have Thunk Senpai right here. Right? Game 1 going strong. That's what we're looking for here. I mean, just taking that first pick, we are gonna have a sub going into the second game, right? We will have Ordinal. Here, step up here.
Hey.
Really quick, yep. I mean, of course. Just quick little game 1 interview, right? Feels good to have Zeri back.
Oh my gosh, I know, it's so fun.
Yep, nope. I mean, having those kind of buffs, you saw that W now. You were doing a
Yes.
lot of chip damage. You got that
Yes.
one kill coming over that turret as well, right?
Right.
Just having that kind of option in her kit now, right? Does it feel good having it not like split
Oh
anymore?
yeah, I definitely think that changing her W to from AP to just pure AD, one of the best decisions that Riot has ever made ever.
Yep.
You know, I was talking to my support Eamon
Yep.
earlier about it, and I think that one of the things that was like sort of scary about the Zeri change was about her auto attack getting changed. You know, shorter range but more damage.
Yep.
And if you really think about it, a lot of support champions, they want to get in on Zeri. That's like one of the ways to shut her down. Because
Hmm.
before she would just poke you out, a fake poke champion, but now they gave her a chance to sort of fight it back against tanks who want to engage on her like Leona, Nautilus, all those hook champions. And it, like I said, gives her a lot more early game damage, so she's not as useless. She can fight before she's level 6,
Yep.
but then when she gets to level 6,
It
that's where she really takes off.
Definitely. I mean, you get those lightning bolts, especially from that E. We were watching a lot more of a scrappier bot lane than we've
Hmm.
seen in any other like Zeri patch, quite frankly.
Yeah, yeah,
Especially having Steamroller take that enchanter, although we know he doesn't like playing enchanters, right?
right,
Having him take that enchanter, give you a little bit more sustainability. I mean, we really saw it right there, picking up those 2 early kills, spiking you, snowballing slowly, getting into
right.
that
Slowly
game,
getting those
and we
kills.
saw we saw that game run away with you and MF Kimbo. So,
Yeah, yeah. Jakimbo really did. It wasn't just me. It was definitely a Jakimbo effort.
yep,
That Katarina was scary, terrifying the
she
entire
was
game.
nasty.
The
Yep,
entire game we were talking about, watch out for Katarina, watch for these roams. She's off the map. What are we gonna do?
yep.
So just communicating things like that and making sure we maneuver around her. I think that's one of our biggest strategies for how we can keep this momentum forward off the first game.
Definitely. I think that was the most momentum that you could have gotten.
Hmm.
Great game, way to play. Nice to see that new champion back.
I know.
And it was great seeing you
Thank
on
you.
that
Thank you
rift.
for having me. Yeah.
We are going to take a little bit of a quick break here before we get into game two. Game two, little bit of a roster change up here, right? If we could take a little bit of a peek here, we have the change in the top lane. We have Dreadful now in this top lane, and we have Edgar in this bot lane as well, Ordinal. Um, so a little bit of a champ matchup, right? We saw the Zeri early game kind of run out, and we saw the Fiora. We might see a Fiora again, but I expect Bradley to kind of ban that out.
Yeah,
But with Ordinal, you have the Caitlyn, so we're probably not going to see a Caitlyn ban come
yeah.
out first, especially
Well,
blue side.
well, it depends because has the side choice now, so they
Mm,
are gonna. It depends what they choose. Oh, it is. Looks like they are gonna go and choose the red side, right?
yep.
Um, which right, if you're Valpo, right, instead of banning the Caitlyn, you ban the Lux, which even though didn't do very well, that's the comfort pick for their support, right? And then you pick the Caitlyn, right?
Hmm.
And we've seen from Valpo, right? We have many more picks than just Caitlyn Lux for this Caitlyn in the bot lane,
Yep.
right? And but if they do decide to ban the Caitlyn, right, you're looking at the Felios, right, for Ordinal.
Mm. We'll have to see if BU does pick up on this sub here because these are two completely different characters,
Yeah,
right? We know that Ordinal elects to kind of late game scale. He likes to play a little bit safer in these kind of early games, not really too active in these fights, but you see him become such a threat in that late game. While with Thonk, he will jump on you immediately.
yeah,
Level 1, if he gets the chance, he will be on you. So kind of picking up on that substitution that we're making and picking up on how to play around it is going to be a key factor for BU. We are going to take a slight break here as we go into the draft of game two, and we'll see you guys then. And we are back, ladies and gentlemen, for game two of the NECC Grand Finals. Valpo Esports versus Bradley University. Valpo Esports coming out with the game one win and a little bit of a roster change up. We do have a change in the top lane, change in the bot lane, different ADC. What are we looking for right now with this draft?
Yeah, so even though we have a change in the top lane, right? I don't expect too much difference for Valpo in the top lane as far as champs, right? Usually we see a Naya for like the tank picks, right? But Jacob and Dreadful more towards the bruisers, right? But Anaya picking that the bruiser. So I'm guessing something sort of like that for Dreadful too. But I mean the main difference is that ADC, right? Two completely different ADCs in Thonk Senpai and in Ordinal.
Hey, I mean, Bradley comes out with the two bands, the Lulu and the Soraka. I think
Yeah,
this might be
and the Fiora.
this might be Steamroller's favorite ban phase ever.
Yeah,
He is having excuses to not play or not play Enchanters. This
yeah,
is great for him. But Vapo Esports sticking with the same bands, no reason to change them. Right?
yep.
Obviously worked last time. BU Spear with the Fiora band, we kind of expected that.
We are probably gonna just gonna see the Aphelios first
I
pick
think
here.
the Aphelios first pick. Yep.
I think that's just what's gonna be, right? You ban the Caitlyn, and yeah, there's the
There's
Aphelios,
the
right?
Aphelios.
And
Yep.
then you're probably gonna see maybe an MF as a response, an MF, because I don't think the Ash was really it that last game, right? I think if you're BU, you really need to change it up in that bot lane, right? But we are probably gonna see a Lux again because of their support's smaller champion pool, right? Small. Oh, we do see the
The
Kai'Sa, right?
Kaisa. Okay.
Right. So the Kai'Sa are very strong in this patch, right?
Yep. And
And we
there's
do
the
see the Ari.
Ari as
So
well.
so we everybody's thinking that the Ari is mid lane, right? The Ari is most likely going to be a support, right? This is the support's second most played champion, right?
Yep.
So we are probably going to see this Ari in the support, right? But the Kai'Sa, right, so strong right now, especially when she can get her Q evolved, right? So that's a very drastic change from the last bot lane. More of a poke bot lane to now a very more go in bot lane.
Boom!
Bro,
That's what I'm talking about. Valpo Esports, Steamroller 14 picking up the Brom, picking up the Giga Chad in the lane. That's what I'm talking about. With the Brom pick, right? That support is insane for Ari and Kaisa,
yeah,
right? Because now you can negate a W, you can negate the Q damage, right? With the E, or with Brom E. And even if Ari jumps in with the charm,
yeah,
you dash in, you E. Even if that charm hits you, it does not knock away the shield.
yeah.
So you can still negate a lot of damage. And the Maokai coming out from Valpo Esports as well, picking up in
Uh,
that jungle role.
this is huge, right? Because this is now forcing Kai'Sa to build that LDR second item, right?
Yep.
Because if she doesn't, she's just not gonna have the damage to take anybody down.
But
But
there's
that
a
Mordekaiser,
Mordekaiser in BU.
right? But the thing with BU, right, is Mordekaiser is a flex pick, right? It can either go top or jungle, right? We've seen that from them all playoff series, right? So we don't know where that's going yet, but Mordekaiser got really apparently got or didn't apparently got nerfed this patch, right?
It was a little bit of a slight nerf, but the way that it affects is jungle Mordekaiser. Obviously,
Yeah,
Riot didn't want to take away any of the power from top Mordekaiser, so we might see that come out. But jungle Mordekaiser now, his passive does not proc with little minions. It only procs
yeah,
with elite monsters. So
yeah,
it will slow his clear a little bit. And we'll see that probably come out today because Jungle Mordekaiser is insanely strong. It still
yeah,
is. With the itemization that you can run with him, he's insanely good with getting to lane really fast and
yeah.
scaling super hard. So with a little bit of a slower clear now, who knows?
Yeah, but we are going to see the Kled and the Vladimir getting banned, right? And
Yep.
then the Gragas and the Anivia, right? Gragas having an amazing first game, right, with Jakimbo, right? Now getting taken away. But usually we see a lot of mid laners get banned, right? But only two this draft, right? So that gives Jakimbo a wide variety of champions to pick, and he has a lot of champions. That is
And the
the
Yone.
Yone mid,
And
and
taking the
that's
cast
just
into the
the
Yone.
instant cast. He sees the Yone, instant
Yep.
Cassiopeia.
And you have
Really
to
just shows that Jakimbo's really confident on this pick.
and you have to think, I mean, Coach Chase was probably prepping for this,
Yeah,
right? Knowing this champ pool that they're working with, a couple of bands can kind of be takeaways, right? And
yeah,
seeing that Gragas band, knowing that they're probably not going to take that Katarina again,
hmm
having that cast on deck ready to be chosen, definitely was prepped this week as well. So we should see a nice and warm MF Jackimbo on this cast.
Yeah, let's see what Dreadful's
Pause.
gonna choose here.
The
Olaf.
Olaf. Yep.
Yeah, Dreadful really really strong on the Olaf, right? We've seen it here multiple times where he's just it looks like the entire team of Valpo is kind of just like down and out, and then you see 22 kills on the Olaf top lane. You're like, what happened? What is going on? This man knows how to play Olaf, and he knows how to play it really, really well.
Olaf is a perma fighter. You
Yeah,
perma fight, and we know Dreadful. Dreadful
that
loves
is
to fight.
dreadful. That is
Dreadful
dreadful.
loves to fight. We'll tell you that. So while we talk about Anaya being a lot of a lane bully, right? She likes to
Yeah,
control a lot of spacing when it comes to damage. Um, Jacob's a lot more just
in your
run at you.
face.
Yeah, exactly. Like I don't need to space you when I can just beat you up.
And
But
we
the
do have the
Yorick
Yorick
pick.
top. So that is the Mordekaiser jungle, which just got nerfed, right?
Yep.
So we are going to see a weaker Mordekaiser jungle, right?
But
But
it still is gonna be really
yeah,
strong. If I
but
have to be honest.
if you are BU, right, this is game two in a best of five, right? So you lose this game, right? You're not out yet, right? So they're kind of just going for more comfort picks, right? Uh, Stuff that they feel like they can they can bring themselves back in this
Yep.
series, right?
Um,
But it's the same thing for Valpo, right? Those are really just five comfort picks, right?
This is the first time that we've seen Brum taken by Steamroller 14 in
Oh, sorry, four comfort picks.
four
Yeah,
comfort picks.
yeah,
Exactly.
because
Yep. But
Edgar,
we
or
know that he loves to play
yeah,
Brum,
we
right?
yeah,
But
but I mean just the Maokai all season long for the Vector,
yep.
right? The Felios all season long for Ordinal. The Cassiopeia, we haven't really seen it much because it's been banned so much for Jakimbo, right? So
Yep.
you're not going to see it
Yep.
if it gets banned. And then we have seen quite a bit of the Olaf from Dreadful, and it suits his play style.
I think the theme that we're seeing, especially I want to focus on him as Jackimbo, especially with the role that he played last game. A theme
Yeah,
that we're seeing with his champion selections is he has a lot of team play.
yeah,
Right, Gragas, obviously you have a lot of solo damage. You can dash
hmm
in, you can knock people up, you can hit Qs, you can do all you want, right, against solo people. But his R can displace so well, and his R can initiate so much. With Cass, same thing. You
yeah,
have the solo damage, you have the poison, you have the grounding, and you can kind of zone around, especially against the Yone, who knows that getting grounded is huge. Right, and not being able to move, not being able to dash out or do anything like that stops a lot of Yone's gameplay. So having all that plus the team play R.
yeah,
I think we're going to see a lot of fights for Valpo Esports. Obviously, Brum is not much of an initiator outside of his Q and his
hmm
R, but he likes to turn fights, right?
hmm
You're able to defend with the E, you defend with that, and then you immediately turn back with it. But Valpo Esports, if they're looking to initiate something, I think we're looking around MF Jacimbo's cast.
Yeah, you're looking at the Cassiopeia, or you're maybe even looking for a flank from the Olaf, right? He can also start a fight, right? Because he has Zar and he can't take any CC. So, right, he just runs in, right? Running in, try to get that fight started, right? And but a big thing with Valpo's team fight is you have to make sure that Aphelios has the right guns for these team fights, right? You're playing around the Aphelios, right? You have to play around her guns that she has, right? Because you start a bad fight with Aphelios's guns versus when she has good guns, it can drastically change the team fight.
Yep. And I think we talked about a lot of these guys, right? And talking about team fights, whatever. One of the most interesting things I think that will come out of this game, I just want people to watch Vector in any of these fights.
Yeah,
I want you to count how much damage he takes.
yeah,
Where I think this is going to be the game we see the unkillable Maokai.
yeah,
Because outside of maybe Mordekaiser, who is going to take anti-heal on this, right?
yeah. I
No,
mean, you're probably looking at maybe Ari, right? But I
but
mean, how
even
much
then,
how much does she offer as for anti heal, right?
exactly,
Maybe
because
looking at the Yone, but uh, I mean, maybe a Bramble from the Mordekaiser. Yeah, that's what
but
you're really looking for.
even then, like when you look at these things, it's a waste to
Yeah,
put anti-heal on a lot of these champions. That's really just how the game is. It's a waste
yeah,
to put anti-heal on a lot of champs.
yeah,
So with Maokai, obviously we have the funny builds that Nolan likes to pick out, and I say funny because he comes up to me every day and he's like, "Dude, look at this build," and
yeah,
he will sit under tower and not take damage.
yeah. I've
So
seen it too. I've seen it too.
I
It's
think if we can get to this late game, we're gonna see the unkillable Maokai come out from from Vector's build.
Yeah, it's also going to be interesting to see what he builds, right? Because if he builds the ROA, I'm pretty sure Justin Jacimbo will jump over the setup and beat him up because he is very anti
Yep.
ROA
Yep.
Maokai. But yeah, I feel like we just expect really just a tank Malachi, right? I mean, just so strong right now.
Yep.
Um, but
And I
you
think,
have to look out for the Yorick, right? Because uh, it very very deadly in the split push, right?
oh
If you
yeah,
just leave him alone in the side lane, right, he will take that lane in about 3 minutes.
I mean, we talked about last game Fiora being dangerous side laner, especially
Yeah,
being on Anaya, but now having that Yorick, I
yeah,
think BU is looking to split it up a little bit, right?
yeah,
They took too much time grouping around. They took too much time trying to 5v5 or 5v3 a lot of these fights, especially on being unsuccessful. That hey, maybe if we just cut our losses, we cut our losses, take a 4v4, force a 5v4 maybe, give Yorick this time to kind of sit in this lane, that pressure will be enough to kind of stop this.
yeah.
But we are going to take a slight break here before we get into this match. We're going to have the draft go on here and then another spectator delay, which will be about 3 minutes. But we will be right back as we load into this game, showing off the rune showing for the Summoners. Are back, ladies and gentlemen. 5 seconds until the spectator delay is up and we load. Get a peek at the runes.
Yep. Check summer smells, right? You kind of expect an exhaust for this bot lane, right? Because Kaisa, you just need that exhaust for her, right? Because she
Yep.
can just R on you, and if you exhaust, she kind of dead, really. Just
A little bit of a problem, right? But I
oh, we do
I'm
see the
really I'm really excited with this draft, right? Game 2 is always
oh,
my favorite game. You,
so we are going with a ghost for the Mordekaiser.
yep. I mean, Ghost Smite kind of normal for Mordekaiser jungle. Really strong right now as we know. You
Also,
do have the ignite in this
yeah, I
well
was
with
gonna
this Yone.
I was gonna say this mid laner has something against TP, right? And we saw how beneficial it really was against last game, right? Where Jakimbo was able to TP down in the bot lane at 15 minutes, and the Katarina had to walk down, right? And by the time she was like halfway down the river, everybody was dead. So
Yep.
it's like you couldn't really do much.
Yep, and we're seeing a couple of pings, especially in chat as well. MH Kimbo pointing out Yone has ignite, right? Having once that 15-minute mark hits, having that rotation power coming
Yeah,
from that mid lane is insane because now bot lane knows they can engage a little bit more.
yeah,
They can step up a little bit more, knowing that their guy can be there in like 4 minutes or 4 seconds.
yeah. And then with the bot or just like starting items, you do see the tier coming out for the Cassiopeia to start stacking that early,
Yep,
right? And then you see the Cole, which is just really an ordinal special on the Aphelios, right?
definitely.
Just sit back in lane, right? Just farm up, not really fighting, right? Because you do have a more you are playing a more aggressive bot lane duo with the with the Kaisa Ari, right? So just sitting back, farming, getting that extra gold from the CS, and then just helping you get to that late game and mid game
I
power
mean,
spikes even earlier.
I laugh a lot about it. And I think I've mentioned this before on the stream. You really know that Ordinal is taking this game seriously when he takes that cold start.
Yeah,
He is not worried about anything else. Dreadful, a couple of Qs here, just getting a couple of shots on Yorick. Yorick, not really much early game strength outside of, the Olaf. Olaf shooting.
already a
The flash
flash.
as well. And it looks like Maokai might have to change his pathing a little bit. Knowing that that flash is out early, if he can get this clear in like, what, 260 seconds? Um, he can get a free kill.
Yeah, uh, just really good from Dreadful to get that flash out early, right? And get that early advantage, right? Now you can just really zone off. And the Yorick knows, right? He knows, hey, I have to watch out for this gank now because he's so low. So he was able to place a ward in that tri-bush to kind of get some vision, right?
But
So he's not getting surprise ganked.
a lot of damage right there from that mid lane on that Yone. Yone's level 2 power spike is a lot better than Cass's level 2.
Yeah.
But once Cass has that grounding, she has an option that can get away from Yone. So I think the trades are going to go in Yone's favor until Emma Jacimbo is allowed to play around that ground that she has on that W.
Yeah, and once again, right, we're seeing both junglers path the same as they did game one, right?
Yep.
The
And there's
Mordekaiser pathing up towards the top lane and the Maokai pathing towards the bot lane. But I do think the Mordekaiser will be able to take more of an advantage of pathing up, right? Because Dreadful, like you said, plays a little bit more aggressive in your face, right?
Yep.
So he does push up a little too far sometimes and gets caught out, right?
I mean, we saw right there. A huge thing about Cass, the way that you can play around that W is remember, when Yone uses his E, it
Hmm.
counts as a dash. It counts
Yeah.
as movement. So not being able to use that E is huge, but we do see
Yeah, here
a
it is.
huge, yeah, we see a huge wall right there from York top lane. Catching Olaf, just being able to equal that trade. Mordekaiser finishing that clear, kind of walking up. Probably going to see him visit the scuttle and then probably try and look again for top because I don't think mid is in really a position to gank.
Yeah, that wall fell like a second, like too quickly.
Yep.
If it was up for like even just a second longer, right?
Yep.
Then that Mordekaiser gets that grab. But Mordekaiser hasn't left yet, right? Able to get that pull in Q on the Olaf, but
I
Olaf
think
is fine.
we are taking a couple of trades in this top lane, right? But I really want to press focus on, unless Maokai ganks this mid lane here, looking for a dash in from this Yone. Mordekaiser just taking a recall in blue side jungle.
We do see Maokai going towards the bottom. He did give that bait ping, right?
Yep.
To just like say, hey, I'm coming,
And
right?
Ari might get caught out here. And there's the
Gets the
dash, but the
flash.
W came in first, the knockback. And they're going to give the first kill
Huge.
to Aphelios. First blood going that way. Dreadful being forced to flash, the knock under the tower, knowing that he can take damage here. The Mordekaiser
Oh
W,
my
but
goodness.
Dreadful picking up the kill before and almost getting that kill on
Oh.
Yorick as well. Yorick almost one shot. Jeez.
So close, but so good from Dreadful to be so low.
And
get
here comes
tower dive
another
and be
gank
able
as
to get
well.
one.
Coming in this mid lane, Vector coming in with the W. Another E coming out the flash and the Q away. But the flash as well from
Aw.
Vector not being able to get it. Just a little bit too much of a hesitation there.
Yeah, good plays from Vector early on, right? Making such an impact across the map already, helping that get that first blood to the Aphelios in the bot lane, and then coming mid lane and getting that flash from the Yone, right?
Yep.
Eh, but I mean, just a great start all around from Valpo, right? From top lane, being able to get one out of that situation, right, where he's getting tower dived with 0 health, basically, to the bot lane and mid lane getting stuff too.
I want to mention really quick too the dynamics of taking this Param Aphelios in this bot lane, right? There's a reason that Aphelios has been holding on to this red gun for a while, right?
Yeah.
Red gun Q is really strong because it does a lot of hits in really quick succession, right? It's lifesteal, but the reason that synergizes so well with Braum, we do have an engage right here in this top lane as well. 6 being hit on Yorick before Dreadful being forced to walk away, but not being able to get away. Firehawk FC on that Yorick being able to pick up that kill.
Yeah,
Just-
that was really good from Firehawk, being able to see that he has that level advantage and that 6 advantage at that, right? So he was able to take advantage of that. Just like what you said, right? Dreadful believes that he will win every fight no matter what, right?
That confidence is key. I mean,
Yeah.
you have to have that in top lane.
But this is what we mean by leaving this this Yorick in the sidelines, right? Look at how fast he's killing these towers, right?
Yep.
Already.
And his
3
wave is
blades
not
down.
nearly gone.
Yeah. That's just
Do
so
have an
huge
engage here.
for BU.
Yep, red team taking that dragon, knowing that Maokai is recalling off the map. Great start right now for BU, kind of how you wanted to come out the second game.
Yeah, you want to come out the second game strong, right? Kill the momentum of Valpo after that huge game 1, right? Also, if you're BU, right, you got blown out in the first game, right? But that's so much easier to recover from than losing a very close game, right?
Yep.
So what you do is you just reset, you forget that game 1 happened, and you just go into the second game.
And this early game is what we're looking for from them.
Yeah.
Right, that reset that you're talking about is huge. Obviously, right, we're waiting for maybe this first team fight, first drag going over to BU, but a lot better laning phase. So
Yeah.
we're going to have to see how they kind of turn this into a team fight. You have to remember they do have a lead in this, or Valpo does have a lead in this bot lane here, especially with the pressure that they have as well.
Yeah. They do have the kill advantage, but I mean, about even on CS, right? But you do have that coal to make up for just the 1 or 2 CS that they're behind. So overall, the bot lane is up pretty nicely.
Yep. And Dreadful just kind of getting knocked off, right? Yorick just having so many minions. Really strong. Probably looking for a Q right here.
Yeah, you see how strong Yorick is in the side lane, right? When he's able to 1v1, right?
Yep.
Usually, Dreadful is really good at like stopping this kind of stuff. But I mean,
Yep. And we do have a huge engage here. You see that charm going off, but
yeah.
Brahm's shield still up. The freeze as well, stopping them. Ordinal popping off the R, getting that kill as well.
Huge.
The electrocute not being able to be much, as it will be a 1-for-0 trade in this bot lane. Ordinal going up 2-0 with a little bit of a CS lead. Probably one more wave on him.
Yeah. I mean, and we've talked about Dreadful being down before early game in the past, right? But this man always finds a way back, right? He always finds a way back in the mid to late game to where he's very relevant in the game, right? He's very relevant in the game. But that was a huge kill by Ordinal in the bot lane.
I mean, I'd say the biggest thing right now that they have to look for. We do have Ari walk up here.
That is a bit questionable.
Looking for maybe just a dash all in, trying to finish off this Ordinal, give enough time for Kaisa, knowing that she has the ignite. But I mean, really just the 2v1, especially considering the CC that Braum has,
Yeah.
not really the best option.
Yeah, I
Um,
don't I don't know if even if she gets that kill, if that's worth giving the kill over to the Aphelios, right? Because I mean, the way the wave is was it would just be pushing back into Ordinal, but just giving the Aphelios free gold. I mean, really doesn't make sense to me.
I mean, Braum did pick up that kill, so it was a little
Oh,
bit
sorry,
negated, but
Braum, but
still, even then, just giving any gold to this
yeah,
bot lane
we
is
are
kind
gonna
of
probably
insane.
just see this tower fall.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, if this wave
Or
picks up, if
no?
he's able to summon, uh, we do see Dreadful back on this Olaf. I think biggest thing right now that they have over is platings, right? I mean,
We do
still,
see the Yone invade, right? Was able to steal the red buff, which is huge. Oh wait, no, he wasn't able
we
to.
might see a little bit of a fight here.
Yeah,
Mordekaiser and Ari, both in these lanes.
yeah. Pretty hectic start to the game, right? A lot of mini skirmishes going on all around the map, right? You
Yep.
see the Yone invade there, right? Oh, we do
And
see
there's
the R.
both R's coming from both sides here.
Oh,
A
both
couple of
flashes.
flashes as well, dash through, being CC immune, but there's
Oh
so much
my,
damage from the minions that he will
that
go
is
down here. But there's a freeze on the Mordekaiser. Mordekaiser still having the R in Steamroller here. Braum being forced into Brazil, just trying to fight this out here, being able to get out in the last second. Kaisa going down as well. Yone R coming in on Vector, the Ignite as well, getting the kill. And it looks like it will be a 1-for-1. But
oh,
Ari looking,
oh,
and there's the flash, or there's the dash as well. The charm getting hit, but the shield staying up, not hitting that Q, and it's gonna be a 1-for-1 trade. Ari dashes back over the wall and then back again.
yeah. And while all that was happening,
Yep, getting
the
getting the bait
first
out on that
tower,
steamroller.
right? So we do see 5 for 4 kills in favor of Valpo, right? But that gold lead, about 1,700 gold lead in the favor of BU, which not a lot, right? But just shows like they're staying closer in this game than they did last game.
Definitely. I think this is a great start for them. I mean, getting a little bit of that gold lead, getting those kills,
Mhm.
or getting that gold distribution on Yorick. I think biggest thing that they have to focus on is, okay, they're deciding that we're not going to focus on like getting those team fights up. We're going to get Yorick fed. Right,
Yeah.
we're gonna get side lane pressure because that side lane pressure was so huge last game for Valpo. They
Hmm.
saw that and they were like, that's like, that's the angle that we want to take, especially against Valpo, who likes to rotate a lot of their people down.
Yeah.
Having that lane, forcing them to split, forcing them to communicate is definitely a good option for BU.
Yeah. We do see that first dragon is picked up a lot earlier this game too. So dragon stacking is much more is going to be a lot easier this game.
Yep,
We already have second dragon. We do see
a
looks
lane
like
swap
a
here.
lane swap.
And Dreadful is in this mid lane. Yone as well, but a lot of damage coming out on Dreadful. Looking for maybe another knockup.
Yeah, Dreadful really just having a tough time this game, right?
Yep.
It just seems like wherever he goes, he can't really do anything, right? He's just getting suffocated.
Yep.
Um,
I mean,
but
having that stride breaker now,
yeah,
probably gonna be able to get those steel caps. Just needs a little bit more survivability, and we have to see how this team fight will happen. There is Rift Herald dropped in this mid lane, so we're gonna see a lot of people converge. Mordekaiser coming in from right side jungle. The dash in, getting a couple of shots, but not gonna be able to take much as the second plating almost holds up.
yeah, this is huge for Kaisa in the bot lane though. Just being able to pick up free tower plates, getting that gold to be able to get her the items that she needs to really scale, right? She really gets a little dangerous once she gets her Q evolve, right? I
Yep.
really say she becomes a real champion in the game, right? Because she's actually able to do stuff.
Yep, but you have to notice, I mean, Dreadful does have a lot of damage in this bot lane as well, but Yone just hit a 3-man ult, getting to the
Oh my
side. The
goodness.
R coming out from Braum as well, stopping him. Aphelios being forced
Good
to flash
flash.
back. The flash on there as well. The R coming out from Aphelios, being able to pick up the Yone before Yone can finish that Q off. A
Oh,
flash as well from Steamroller, trying to get away from that Mordekaiser ult. Dreadful in this bot lane, being able to pick up Kaisa while Kaisa kills him as well. Ordinal picking up another kill on Mordekaiser. Ordinal 5-1, 5-0-1 on the Felios.
yeah. Recently, we kind of just been like, whenever we see Ordinal on the Aphelios, right? He has a lot of assists, right? and he usually kind of just like has been like taking the back seat, right? But this game, right, he's really the catalyst for
This is
Valpo. Uh, really, most of having most of their kills, right? Um, so you really look towards him to really carry this Valpo team into the late game.
definitely. I mean, this is what we want to see as well, because a lot of the time I don't feel like it was Ordinal's fault that he had a lot of
Yeah,
assists, right? But now Valpo is giving him that opportunity, get those kills, get that scaling. You saw he used that Gale Force that last fight coming in clutch. Probably going to be able to pick up close. He gets the Zerkers. He's probably going to get able to sell this Koloff soon. He's starting up that LDR as well, that
yeah.
tanky miss, which makes sense. I mean, you're fighting the Yorick, the Mordekaiser, and the Yone. Having that armor pen is really important.
Okay, so something I find pretty interesting, right,
Yep.
is this Kaisa's building, right? She decides to uh, go for the Kraken,
Yep.
normal, right? But then decides to go for Berserkers, right? That's pretty normal. But usually, and she gets the cloak, right? She has not. She just needs two long swords to be able to get her Q upgrade, right? So
Yep.
she doesn't even have her Q evolve right now. So she's really just setting herself back quite a bit just by bad itemization, right?
She's focusing on getting the items rather than getting the upgrades for
Yeah.
the Kaisa abilities. For the people that don't know at home, Kaisa's passive. Oh, we do have a smite on this Rift Herald being able to get taken. The root on the Mordekaiser as well. The freeze, the stun come out. The Mordekaiser or the Maokai are coming back. Ari and them is late in the back lane, but Ari getting the kill on Braum. Vector probably also getting caught out here. A couple of knockbacks. The healing. The Aphelios are coming out. Aphelios picking up the kill on Ari, but then getting picked off right before picking up one more.
That was huge from BU, right? You get the shutdown on to the Aphelios, right? Huge gold, especially on the Mordekaiser, right?
Yep.
Not a bad person to get that gold onto. BU playing a lot better this second game
Yep.
than this first game, right?
I mean, you have to ask yourself, right? Was Rift Herald worth it for the 3 deaths, right?
No, I
And
don't think it is because, I mean, you have a,
we have the R over the wall on Dreadful, maybe being able to get
but
the kill,
Dreadful
but
doesn't die.
the shield coming from Dreadful and then the R popping off as well, making sure they didn't get double CC'd from that Yone R. Really, really clutch. Huge pick right there. Staying back a little bit and being able to put Dreadful back in this game.
Yeah. But as I was saying, right? I mean, you have an argument that it's worth it if tower plates are still up, right? But they're not up, right?
Yep.
So, I mean, you're not getting that golden XP that you really make it worth dying over.
Yep. I mean,
Um,
maybe a little bit of a misplay from Valpo, but obviously now you see the couple of pings come up from Valpo
yeah.
asking you what tower are we going for, right?
Yeah.
And it makes sense now that you have that rift, right? Whether here in the booth we think it's a good play or not, Valpo has to move with it and be able to choose. Hey, like, let's get these towers. We have to even out the odds here because right now BU has 3 towers on Valpo and Valpo has not cracked tier 1 yet.
Yeah. And just look like an instant mid pop that should get the mid tower, I think. Oh,
And we
this
have a
might be
huge
dead-
shot here.
This might be a
Dreadful.
dead dreadful.
Yep, Dreadful
he's not
really, really
careful.
taking a lot of damage. Tier 1 tower going down. Vector being forced to flash out. Another R coming in from Aphelios, but not being able to get much with the Bramar.
Yeah, Dreadful able to get out by the skin of his teeth, right?
Yep.
Now just kind of waiting in this bush for this lane to push.
Kind of seeing that dangerousness because, I mean, Yorick minions go down to 1 auto, but Dreadful's main Dreadful's main crowd control, right? Or not crowd
Q.
control, but his main, like,
Wave
AoE
clear.
damage is his.
Yeah, his wave clear is all
Exactly.
in his Q, and he can't really one shot those.
But it looks like they're
minions,
trying
but
to shut down this Yorick. There is a 300 gold shutdown on him.
This
They
would be
pick
a
up the
600
500.
kill gold. This would be huge.
Definitely, and there's the knockup. It looks like Yorick's just gonna
They're
go
gonna
down
give it
here.
to. I think they're
Giving it to
the
Dreadful.
Dreadful.
Yep.
That's huge, right?
Definitely
you get him
better-
back in the game, right? And that's really what you need.
Better than going on that Maokai or going on that Braum too.
Yeah, but you do see from the Yorick, right? He does have that stride breaker. So that, like you said, right? They're really like Yorick. You're
Or
split
hole
pushing,
breaker. Yep.
or sorry, hole breaker. You're split pushing this game, right? that's your main objective, right? Pull people away from the team fights
Yep.
and the objectives. Speaking of objectives, we do
And
have a
Vector is getting shot at here. A
ooh,
huge charm from the Ari and going down to the Kaisa.
that
Look,
is that is huge because this is Mountain Dragon up.
yep, that is the pick that they were looking for. Just I need a little bit better vision control right now in their own jungle or blue side. Kind of being forced in, but you have to look. Olaf is on that top side trying to take that tier 2 tower. If they can crack that tier 2 tower and give a little bit more pressure,
Yeah,
it is going to be Mountain Soul again. So another huge dragon, right? Obviously, Mountain Soul being one of the strongest in the games. Now, alongside that Chemtech,
yeah,
Chemtech Dragon is pretty strong, but I think Stoat Mountain is on top,
yeah.
or along with that Hex Tech.
Especially if you're BU right now, you're looking and you're like, okay, a mountain soul on York, a mountain soul on Mordekaiser, and you're
Yeah,
feeling pretty good, right? You're
yep.
feeling really good about that.
Especially with the Jack Show Mordekaiser,
Yeah,
right? Having those extra resistances stacking during the fight, insane.
yeah. But if you're also Valpo, you're like, you got Braum, you got Maokai, and you got Olaf, right?
Yep.
Three very good champions for the Mountain 2, right? But you have to be able to get there, right? I mean, we see once again the kill 11 to 9, right? But you do see that 2K gold difference, right? So kills can be very misleading, and Valpo need to make sure that they understand that even
There,
though they have the most kills, right, they're still at a disadvantage in these team fights.
yep, there are a couple of kills. We do have the LDR now built on Aphelios, so it will be doing a little bit more damage in these fights. But I think what you have to really look at as well, we have the gold lead, but check the vision. Right, big reason
Yeah,
why they got that dragon was because they caught Vector out on that vision. So having that control in your jungle, just being able to play around your team, is huge for being able to take these objectives. And I think objectives will win either team this game. Right, obviously, like that's a very general statement to
yeah,
say, but sometimes you can just roll over people with kills. But really, these fights are going to be forced from objective rather than just people jumping in on each other.
yeah. And I mean, kind of saw that game one from Valpo being able to get a 20-minute Baron, right? And then being able to just keep snowballing those objectives, right? To where it just was not winnable for BU.
Couple of shots over the wall here. The charm coming in from Ari. Another shot, right? The Leandry's on Ari. You know, as we expect, that kind of support role. Trying to take that damage, that tank damage. Probably
Yeah.
see the anti-heal come from her. If you are going to
Oh,
Leandry's a
popped from
huge
Olaf.
engager in this
A
spot.
lot of damage.
The CC immune, the flash as
Oh
well, but
my
the
goodness.
Yone are not doing much as Dreadful picks up the kill on Yone in that side lane. And now once you see that kill, right, Dreadful's going to clear this wave and now they're open to engage. You do have a 4v5, or
Yeah.
at least a 4v4 with no support.
That Yone also uses Ignite too, so a cooldown, another cooldown that is down for the Yone.
Yep.
But
You do see the Mordekaiser pathing this bot side and
Yeah.
the Murik probably trying
yeah.
to find Olaf here.
This is what we talk about Dreadful, right? He overstays sometimes, and
Yep.
this looks
Well,
like
we'll see
just
how he can
a-
get out of this. Remember, he is 2 levels above the Mordekaiser right now, just trying to get away. The
just
pull
looks
in
like
as
the
well,
R.
and it looks
Yeah,
like he'll
he's
probably
like
just
he's
try and
trying to
go
get
down
this
and go
guy.
for that tower. The shutdown going to Yorick.
But this is huge, right? Because
Yep.
Valpo see,
That's
hey,
exactly what you wanted.
the Mordekaiser and York are down bot lane. Who's gonna stop us from getting this Baron, right? No
I
one.
mean, we talk about Dreadful being kind of overstaying a little bit, but obviously as the season has gone on, it's gotten a lot more calculated.
Yeah.
Right. We see now he's organizing that with his team. You know that if he stays and they go down, that's free Baron, and we saw that right there. Even if it's not going on Olaf, who is a good side laner, you at least have it for the rest of your team, and that's really important.
Yeah. I mean, uh, BU also good to respond with getting that mid tier 1 or mid tier 2 tower, right? Just making sure that they're responding on the map, right? They're not making it easy for Valpo, right? And they haven't, right? You got 4 towers to 2 in the favor of BU, right? But Valpo now having that Baron, right? Still about 2K gold down, right? They need to take this Baron, right? And create something with it, right? They need to control this gold lead.
They did take this Baron, right? And now that they have that Baron, they're going to try and walk for this dragon. 45 seconds on this drag. going to be huge because you don't want to fight around this soul point, especially if you lose this fight coming up.
Yeah,
You don't want to fight around a soul point, especially when you're behind, right?
yeah,
Although we do trust in Vector's smites and we do trust in him flashing over walls and stealing crazy objectives like we've seen him before, ideally you don't want that to happen.
yeah,
Ideally you want to just fight for it and take the dragon. So having this walk up, you really don't want to move them to soul point.
yeah. I'm curious to see when Kaisa backs what she's gonna build next. If she's gonna go for the LDR or the IE. Um, but right now it doesn't look like she's gonna back before the dragon, which is honestly huge, right? Because she's been sitting on that for a while, so she's probably sitting on quite a bit of gold.
Yep.
So the, even though that the gold lead, right, it's about 2K in the favor of BU, right? It doesn't really matter if you're not buying anything with that gold, right?
You have to be careful here. Now that Kaisa does have a shot at least in, her repositioning can be a little bit clutch. They are working with down in gold lead, but they do have Baron buff.
Yeah, and you also have to watch out for this Yorick top lane, right? So probably what's gonna happen, right? You take this Baron, or you take
They're
this
speeding
dragon.
for this dragon. We do have the pull in for Mordekaiser and not being able to take much here. A couple of shots out, and it looks like they're just going to
Yeah,
give this
yeah.
drag.
There's that TP from Cassiopeia, or the recall to try to stop this.
But right as
Lord.
she recalls, it looks like there will be the R on Ordinal trying to take this shot, a dodge on the E, but it probably won't be enough to flash. But Era picking up the kill on Ordinal, the
Oh
Ignite as
my.
well. The R back in, the R coming in from Maokai as well. Couple of shots up. Yone being able to dash back. Ari kind of getting caught out. Dreadful almost dead here. Steamroller blocking a lot of damage from that Kaisa. Kaisa being able to drop in and clean up that kill. Vector also taking a lot of damage here. Kaisa probably being able to proc another shot here. Looking for a W. A huge E from Ari, walking him down. Steamroller also getting hit. Yorick electing to move to this mid lane, and MF Jakimbo just recalling at a bad time. Because right as they saw the MF Jakimbo get out of there, wasn't really team recall. Right?
Yeah,
If you're going to do that, you have to go with your team. And Valpo might be able to, or Valpo might be in a lot of danger here. The
Yeah.
stopwatch from Emma Chikimbo
I
stopping
think
them.
BU are just gonna try to end here,
Yep.
right? But that
I
huge
would think
R
huge R from
Ordinal
Aphelios.
makes them have to back up and not being able to end because they're so low. But I mean, I'm gonna be honest. I never thought I'd say this. I think the Ari looked better than the Lux support.
The Ari is looking really nice right now. I think the biggest thing is that her repositioning is key.
Yeah.
Right, we've seen in a lot of fights her able to R over wall, R back, hit clutch E's, be able to just move around a little bit because with the Lux, a lot of those deaths came from her just being out of position.
Hmm.
So now that she has the chance to get back in position, even through some CC and dash around and kind of open up her team in spacing wise, it's really becoming an issue, especially after like running people down.
Yeah. Uh, but now on the side of Valpo, right? I mean, very good to get that dragon, right? To stop the bleeding, right?
Yep.
But I mean, you're now dealing with um, a very fed Kaisa and Yorick and not a fed Yone, right? But Yone hit his power spike, right?
Yep.
He has that IE and he has that bloodthirster, right? So you're facing very scary late game champions, right? We are gonna see the Kaisa go for the IE, right? Uh, really expecting her to build the LDR, right? Because of the Olaf, the Maokai, the Braum, right? But she's not looking. Even the Cassiopeia, right? She gets benefits from the LDR because of the health difference, right? But I mean, it looks like she should be building it next. But by the way things are going, it might not even get to that point.
Yep. I mean, you have to be careful. BU is now using a lot of their opportunity of just walking in here. The E coming out from the Yone, and then walking
Ooh.
into the R, making sure that you can't stop. Kaisa coming over the wall, but also falling down.
Huge
falling
shutdown.
down. Double kill going into Dreadful. Dreadful not being done, running back on that Ari, trying to get that Ari to dash away. Mordekaiser still in the R, coming back out of it, getting shot down, and a triple kill
Dreadful.
going to Dreadful in this lane.
And
Huge reset right
that's
there.
just a free Baron for Valpo, right? That is a very questionable play from BU, right? Why are you fighting that right right when Baron pops up, right? And now you're getting to the point where the Cassiopeia can now deal with the Yorick, right? Poking the Yorick down. Very scared. I was getting scared there. Maybe the RA
I
doing
was
something there.
I was a little bit stunned to speak right there. I
Yeah,
mean, watching watching big man Dreadful in that top lane being able to just walk into the Yone or walk into the Kaisa or walk into the Ari or I mean
yeah.
that's all you need,
That
right?
was huge from Dreadful, right? That really started when he blocked that Yoni R
Yep.
from being able to go over the wall, gets that kill, right? And then is able to get two more kills, huge kills on the Kaisa and the Mordekaiser. Just really big. I mean, like I said, right? He starts the game very slow and can lose these lanes, right? But
Yep.
he always makes himself relevant. Somehow finds himself relevant in the late game. And this is a huge dragon coming up in 30 seconds, right? This is for Soul Point, which both teams desperately need this soul.
Yeah, I mean, we're looking to just put ourselves in a sudden death soul point, right?
Yeah,
Because being at 2 drags, needing that 4, right? This third one is going to be who's going to get this advantage. You're not really looking, obviously, you want to take this dragon, but whoever's going to win this fight will have that gold advantage, will have that staying power for this next fight, I feel like.
yeah.
And that's huge. But it looks like BU is going to start a little bit early here. Both top laners being at the top, not evolving to be in this fight.
I
But
thought Vector
Mordekaiser
just.
just outsmiting Maokai right there. Maokai still being in that W before he could smite. Vector maybe getting caught out here a little bit. The dash in from Yone, a huge knock-up, and a ton of healing. Cassiopeia getting the pick on the Ari in the back lane as well. Steamroller and Vector just kind of playing the long game. Cass still being alive. Another kill going in the back lane on Ordinal from Yone. MF Jackimbo falling, triple kill going to Kaisa. Kaisa just going insane this game.
Oh,
But MF Jacimbo's
kills
poison
him.
getting that kill, stopping them, and I think that might be close enough. You at least have Dreadful in this lane. The issue is you have 3 tanks versus
Yeah.
Dreadful in this inhibitor.
Dreadful.
It's
The
all up to Dreadful right now to try and
really only
stop
thing you
this.
have is
Remember,
just
Yone is
Yone
very
is
low
low.
right now. If he's able to run down,
Dreadful
he's able
does
to
have
get a lot of
R2.
damage out. That's a lot of damage. He is undisabled. He gets one. The flash comes out, and he's just going to try and clear wave here, which is probably the smarter idea. Inhibitor does spawn back up on them. The Q may be looking to come out.
Oh,
The
he's
knock
wanting
up
to
on the
fight.
Q. The shot in as well. Yone kind of looking over the wall to just try and pick a couple of knockups. But remember,
Bomb is
Steamroller
there.
is back, but
Aw.
it's not going to be enough. As the rest of the team spawns, there is one turret down in Nexus.
Yeah, just very, very good from Dreadful, right? He died there, right? But he was able to stall, right? He was able to keep the game alive for Valpo. Just being able to get that huge kill on the Mordekaiser, making the other two back up. But, I mean, this is looking very, 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 very bad for Valpo, right? You have about a 5K gold deficit, right? Um, the Kaisa, super super fed. Now has Last Whisper, right?
Yep.
Now has that armor pen, right? That she can now that she now has. But I mean, you gotta look towards the Aphelios, right? What can the Aphelios do in this late game?
Yep.
What damage can he bring, right?
Taking that QSS, especially just to have a quick cleanse,
Yeah.
trying to stop that CC, I think it's
Stop
huge.
that Mordekaiser. I think that's what it's for.
Yep.
Really, really get out. Does QSS stop Mordekaiser?
I don't think so.
Okay, never mind. Don't just ignore me. But I mean, to get that Ari charm, right? Because that Ari charm, if you get charmed, that can
Nasty.
just, if you're Aphelios, right, that can just mean insta death.
I mean, if we're looking at stats right now, the biggest thing in these fights is that Valpo is getting too split up.
Yeah.
They, especially in that dragon, you saw Chikimbo get that pick from that backside and kind of stay around there. You do have the Mordekaiser R here, but Emma Chikimbo's R as well, just trying to keep him face to face. A couple of shots, but the stopwatch is going to stop them. There's going to be an engage here, a huge knockup from Vector. The R coming out from Maokai as well. A lot of damage. Emma Chikimbo being able to melt that. The stun going on Yorick as well. It is a 5v3 now in this lane. Kaisa's still farming that mid lane. Already looking to blast going out, and they're just going to accept that and walk to this mid lane, trying to stop these minions, because Kaisa does have enough damage. If she can clear these waves, it can get dangerous.
Yeah, you said it, like Valpo is just too split up in these team fights, right? But that's what BU wants, right? That's the team comp that they've kind of drafted with this Yorick, right? They want them to split up, right?
Yep.
They want to be able to to
And
have these split up fights to where if they do decide to group right, what are they giving up,
yep,
right? And usually it's a York and a side lane.
if I'm Valpo right now, I'm trying to just farm and scale until that inhibitor comes back up,
Yeah,
because you can't take a chance at a backdoor.
yeah,
The charm coming in from the charm coming in from Ari, hitting Dreadful, get that electrocute proc. Couple of recalls. I mean, you have to reset. There is Baron coming up here soon, and then Soul Point in a minute as well for BU. If BU does get this Soul Point, it's going to be really, really hard for Valpo to stall this game out. I really expect one of these two fights to be the last one of the game, whether
yeah,
if BU does win this.
yeah. If BU get this Mountain Soul or this, I mean, I feel like BU are really going to take this Baron, right?
Yep,
And then really what you want to do is when you take this Baron, you want to have it transfer, kind of just walk down to that bot lane and get
definitely.
that dragon. And then once you have Soul, right, you kind of look at Vapo and you're like, okay, how do we kill this team with Mountain Soul?
Yep. I mean, it just changes the focus of the
And
game
you look
so
at this
much.
York, they ping it right, but they see this York pushing this bot lane, right when Baron is up, right,
This
really
is
pulling this Valpo team down. But they're fighting over Dragon instead of Baron, right? It's pretty, I mean, makes sense, right?
do
You
have that
really,
cast. You do have that cast in that bot lane as well to match it
yeah,
with the TP up. I mean, you can't give this soul point. As
you
much as you
cannot,
don't
yeah.
want Yorick to side lane here, you have to force him in.
And
And there is
here's
going to
his
be the
TP.
TP as well.
But the
Yorick
point from
is
York,
split around this side, but Dragon is started up, trying
already
to just
half
take a
health.
little bit of speed. Vector coming in, maybe looking for a smite, but red team
Oh,
takes it. Soul point going over to BU. R coming out for Mordekaiser. The Maokai R coming out as well. Just a couple of knockarounds. Mordekaiser about to get locked in here. The W not being able to hit from Kaisa. Ordinal picking up the kill on Mordekaiser. That is huge for BU, even though they
yeah,
did lose Mordekaiser in that fight. Soul Point, Mountain Soul, having those resistances going down, but Valpo has to take advantage of having that one down. Not going to be
yeah,
able to push any waves. You have Dreadful back to clear up that mid, so now you have to go for this Baron. Right there's the vision that they were looking for from Yone, trying to take this trying to take this Baron. I don't think they have really any steal potential unless, Caster's Jinx. Never mind the huge R from Yone, but not really being able to do much there, as Death
oh,
Dance is enough to kill him
Cassiopeia
there.
Gets him.
Yep,
But I mean, York is just gonna go for this inhib, right? But he has the entire team of Valpo chasing him down,
yep.
right? But if you're
You have
York,
to be
you
careful.
did your job, right? You got the split push, you got the tower, you got the inhibitor, right? And now you have the bot lane being able to push in this mid lane.
You have this Kaisa and you have this Ari as well pressuring that mid lane. I mean, BU is doing what they can to pressure,
Yeah,
right? If you're going to take that early turret, if you're going to just walk down and have those inhibitors open, you have to play around those objectives. Even if that means
mm,
giving up that fight and giving up that Baron, you got the soul and you have that split push potential. So play with the pressure all you can and do as much as you can. You do have the W on Kaisa, Kaisa being able to, or Kaisa getting spotted in that left jungle.
yeah. Kai'Sa really strong right now. One item off of full build, right? It's gonna be interesting what she builds for that last item. Um, and then on the other side, you have Ordinal on the Felios. A bit down in gold, right? At least item wise, right? Not uh, not look not as strong as the Kai'Sa right now, right?
I mean, it's
And
just,
and
it's
he's a main part of the
expensive.
and he's the main part of the damage coming for Valpo, right? Um, but I mean, Valpo keeping this gold lead within about, it was at 5,000, right? But now you're creeping in the 2,000 gold difference mark, right? So even though the base is looking a little grim, right? But you're still keeping
You're
competitive in this series,
you're
right?
pulled in, and you have to understand. I mean, once this Elder Dragon comes up, there's more than a chance that we see Valpo try and take this drag, right?
Yeah,
Taking Elder Dragon negates that Mountain Soul,
yeah,
because you now, or not fully negates it, but it gives you a fighting chance against that Mountain Soul.
yeah,
So they just have to be able to play, not force any fights until then. Wait for this objective to come up, group for it, and then take your shot. I mean, you have to
But
keep Vector alive.
yeah, and if you're Valpo, right, you have to be conscious of where the Shuriken is at all times, especially when this Elder Drake is up, right?
Yep,
Because even if you get Elder Drake, right, the Short can backdoor very, very easy, and he has the TP up. So he needs Valpo really need to keep an eye on him and where he is at.
definitely. I mean, we're looking at it right now. BU splitting their lanes a little bit. You have York in that top lane going with the 3-2-2. Have a split back as well. Probably going to be 1-3-1 if I had to guess, right? Because
Hmm.
you have Mordekaiser farming that jungle. I was going to mention it, Maokai. You just kind of have to give your jungle until this drag is up.
Yeah,
Uh,
I mean, there's no, I mean, as Valpo, right, you just don't even want to walk in the jungle, right? Because
yep,
you don't want to just be, because a kill here, right? Early kill here, right? Elder's not up, right? But BU could end the game, right?
yep,
Over a single kill, right? So Valpo have to play really, really safe to make sure they're not just uh, giving away the win for free, just by pushing up into the jungle.
definitely. I mean, their best bet is just to play a little bit safer. Kaisa just trying to get a couple of shots down. The W in as well. Just a couple of recalls. I mean, like we were talking about, just trying to stall for that objective.
Yeah.
Really not going to do much here. But once you do get that objective, once you get that push, that fight that you're kind of looking for, um, that's really all you need. We are gonna have the Elder Dragon come up here in a second. Just 1 minute 15. Really, this is the boring part of League of Legends. I'm
Yeah.
sorry, folks. It is the 40-minute game that everybody is just farming now. Um,
Yeah, just waiting for objectives. Really just really looking for the end, right?
yeah,
But you see, uh, Yorick already kind of just setting up that top lane push, right?
yep,
Uh, Valpo really need to be scared of this Yorick, right? Because he will end the game, right? But you can't just put all your eggs into this Yorick basket, right? Because then BU will all just run down and get Elder, and at that point, I mean, as Valpo, right, you just lose the game because you don't really have anything that can stop them at that point.
you have to be careful here. Vector is looking to walk around a little bit in this jungle. With that RE charm may be really dangerous, especially missing the RE charm though, forcing Vector to back up here. Inhibitor is almost up here. York just kind of playing PvE here, not really fighting until getting that MF Jakimbo flash after the wall. We do have another engage as well. Huge knockup, but the Yone R is huge, getting in shots.
This
Kaisa
is
also repositions as well. Firehawk almost going down in this bot lane.
that
Going
is
down,
huge.
picking up that kill. Steamroller, everyone's still alive in this mid lane.
That
A
is
couple of
huge.
R's pings as well. The
Steamroller needs to stay alive here. That's also a huge kill, right? But if you're Valpo, right, you don't have to
Mordekaiser and
worry
Yone
about.
are starting this right now. The Aphelios R comes out. Kaisa, Ari going in. Vector looking for just a kill. There's Dreadful
Ari
picking
down.
up that shot. Elder is at half health. Mordekaiser looking to get an R, just trying to survive. MF
R's
Jakimbo caught in that
onside
trap.
MF Jakimbo,
Kaisa
right?
is still there. Era picking up the kill on Ordinal. The shutdown going to Kaisa as well. Vector still alive. Dreadful still alive. It is a 3v2. Vector getting the kill on Kaisa as
Shutdown.
well. Vector staying up. It's now a 2v1 against this Mordekaiser. If they can finish off this Mordekaiser, it could be a really strong thing, but you have to realize there are minions in base right now taking this base. Even if they get this
Yeah,
kill.
Yorick up in 5 seconds. He has TP.
Yorick does have
this doesn't
TP
matter.
up.
He's just going to TP to the base, right? And who is going to stop him? I think
Yep.
Valpo realized it, but it's a little too late.
I think Valpo, it's too late for Valpo.
It's too late.
They are going to have the TP to base with Nexus open the knockup as well, and that is going to be game. Game 2 going to be you. Practicing that split pushing, just overall great play, great macro from them. Even though they didn't win the kill fight, that's really all you needed. Was just taking those first couple of lanes, getting that early lead to that Yorick, and then running it that side lane.
Yeah, I mean, much better game from BU in the second game here, right? It is a best of 5 though, right?
Yep.
Usually we're used to these BO3s, so where this next game is like the game decider, right? But we have at least a guaranteed game 4. So but very, very good. This is a kind of game we really wanted to see, a very competitive series, right? Um, coming from BU, right? And they showed why they're here in the finals, right? And
Definitely.
this is the first time that Valpo has lost a game, all playoffs, right? So this is Valpo now being like, okay, that we're in a best of five, right? We need to regain, right? How are we coming back, right? What are we doing game three, right? How are we keeping our mental cool, right? We need to keep calm, right? Just one game, right? You don't want to overreact, right?
Yep.
Just go into the next game, right? Uh, just think about draft, right? Just forget about that loss, and yeah, th-
Definitely. I mean, just have to take a little bit of a hard reset
yeah.
going into this next game. We're going to see like if we have any roster changes. We're going to check just out what the team's got going on, kind of
hmm
how we move forward, and we will catch you guys at the beginning of game 3. And welcome back, everyone, to Game 3 of the NECC Grand Finals. Valpo Esports versus BU Spear. I mean, going into Game 3, 1-1 both sides. Really have to be careful. What does Valpo have to adjust, specifically in their draft, to kind of pick up the slack that they had from that second game?
Yeah, I think we're gonna see maybe some different bands, right? Or some different picks, right?
Yep,
Um, the main thing looking at the second game, right, was that Mordekaiser and that York, that top side of the map, really just dangerous
yep.
for BU, right? But Valpo back on the red side, right? So they are gonna have the counter picks, right? So they are gonna get the matchups that they really want in these lanes, right?
Definitely.
And that being able to take that advantage and really um, push the laning phase into the late game.
And I
But
mean, going into game three, we do have the same lineup that we had from game two. We have Dreadful in top lane, Vector in the jungle, MFG Kimbo in the mid lane, and then we have Ordinal and Steamroller as our bot lane. Going into this draft, right, like you talked about, he had to fix that Yorick, had to fix that Mordekaiser, and that's nothing against Dreadful, right?
yeah,
That's nothing against the laners that we played. The issue is that just the champ and the playstyle of that champ was
yeah,
so different to how Valpo approached that first game. And
yeah,
approach is all you need in this game, right? If
yeah,
you know how you want to zone people and you can do it effectively, that's how you win these games. So
yeah.
BU Spear coming out with the first ban Lulu. I don't expect them to ban anybody different
No, I
from
think
that same.
I think you keep the same three bands. Honestly, we'll probably see the same three bands from Valpo also,
Yep.
right? Oh, looks like
The
they're
Echo, they choosing to ban the Echo first. I mean,
yeah,
they banned the Echo before. Echo
yeah.
is really strong, just
It
jungle
looks like
or
they were
mid
thinking
lane.
about the Caitlyn, right? Maybe
Yep.
they're thinking about not banning the Caitlyn here. Maybe that's their one change, right? But we do see this Raka and the Fiora come out again. Like you said, same bands from BU. Oh, no, there's the Caitlyn.
Yep.
So, um, yeah, the
We'll
Caitlyn
see.
ban.
We'll see if BU elects to actually pick their bot lane again first here, or if they are just gonna go with that Yorick Mordekaiser, try and stop it before it gets banned in round two.
Yeah, I don't think they'll pick the support um here because I mean, I feel like first picking support like they did in game one was kind of like just oh,
Never
okay.
mind. There it is. First
Well,
pick
I guess
support.
I'm wrong. Well, I don't really see the point of first picking the Ari here, right?
I
Because
think
I don't think anybody on Valpo is gonna pick that Ari unless
yep.
they don't think
I
that
think
anybody is strong enough to just blind pick.
the issue is that you have to pick the support, knowing that the support kind of is like an OTP for this Ari, right?
Yeah,
You have to pick that first because you can't take that chance again of running her on Lux, right? Or
yeah.
running Rory on anything different.
Ooh,
And Valpo Esports, knowing this, is going to take a little bit more of an aggressive fight. Instead of trying to take the characters away, they're going to just try and play into them differently, picking up Misfortune as their first pick for Valpo. We know that Ordinal likes to play with Misfortune. Misfortune obviously been strong in the last couple of patches, a little bit dimmed down from her like peak like two patches ago,
yeah.
but still very dangerous in lane. And we might see probably maybe a Nautilus or somebody tanky here like a Tarek that can step up and just tank for Valpo Esports.
Yeah, that
There's
Tarek.
the Tarek.
I
Yep.
mean, it makes sense, especially with the Ari, right? Someone very what am I? Very weak, right? Not a
Yep.
lot of health, right?
Yep.
So if you can get that Ari down, right? If you can get her that stun, right? And if you have the press the attack on the MF, right? The auto Q auto, right?
Yep.
That's looking like a lot of that's a lot of damage, right? And that really changes the entire laning phase.
Definitely. And I mean,
Oh, we do see the Aphelios from
the
BU
Aphelios come
Spear.
out from BU. Okay. Um, we haven't seen BU play the Aphelios, right? Or
Yeah,
we've seen them play it in like earlier games. We haven't seen it against our team specifically.
yeah,
So we'll have to see kind of how they arrange. I personally haven't seen an Aphelios RE bot lane
yeah.
before, so I'm kind of interested to see will they play a little bit more back? Are they looking to play a little bit more defensive, waiting for six? But there's the Cho'Gath taken from
Ooh.
BU Spear.
It,
Cho'Gath,
this is a interesting pick, right? Because you're gonna assume it can go top. This is another one of the flex picks, right?
yep,
Uh, BU against their series against Purdue, right? They picked the Cho'Gath jungle,
yep.
so this Cho'Gath can go jungle. but we are going to see a Nivea mid lane uh, for Jakimbo.
And I think that's a really, really good pick for
Yeah.
Valpo. Anivia right now in her state is one of the strongest mid laners. Not
Hmm.
only just we're talking like win rate, but in order to play against her, you have to factor in so much, especially with the AP scalings that she has on her kit right now being untuned.
Hmm.
Um, Really insane. We've heard MF Jakimbo talk about this a while. He personally thinks that Anivia is one of the most broken champs in the game,
Hmm.
especially for playing that laning phase. And now knowing that BU elects to usually ban that mid laner in that second phase, they were like, hey, we're gonna give our jungle a counter pick. Because that Mordekaiser Maokai pit matchup that they ran last game was not working. And it just did not feel good for anybody in those lanes. So electing to give that jungle a little bit later for Valpo, um, is really a good pick because now you have that Anivia, you have that first pick that Justin wants to, or MFG Kimbo wants to take.
And there's that Yorick ban, right? But
Yep,
so I think Valpo realizes that this Cho'Gath has the opportunity to go into the jungle, right? Honestly, we might see a Mordekaiser here, right? And then that's also another flex pick, right? So they can really decide where they want each one to go to, right? If they want that Mordekaiser in the top or the jungle,
yep.
or if they want that Cho'Gath in the top or the jungle, right?
I mean, Cho'Gath being a pretty smart pick here as well,
With that
considering
Riven
patch
ban.
changes. The Riven ban, making sure that Dreadful just can't take it.
Yeah,
Um,
he went a little crazy
he
on the
went,
Riven
he
last
got a
time he
little bit
played.
goofy. He got a little bit
Yeah.
silly last time he played Riven, so a little bit of fear struck in, and that's kind of what you're looking for because that opens up that Aatrox. It opens up a lot of his other picks. But speaking,
I think you see the jungle pick right here for Valpo, right? And then you leave the top counter pick for Dreadful, right? You
yep,
get him on something comfortable.
there's the Jarvan.
There's that Jarvan, right? So now
The
we got that
Cassidon
Cassidon.
mid, yeah.
Yeah,
Okay, BU electing to go with the Casa win. Uh,
yeah, they have Cassidon, right? But for Cassidon, right, melee champion, right?
yep.
Who
Against
goes in
Anivia is really
against
tough.
Anivia, but you also going against a Tarek, right?
And the
So
Trundle pickup as well from BU.
yeah, so
Yeah,
that's going to be interesting to see what
it
this
is
top lane is, right? So now you're knowing that the Cho'Gath is probably going to go in the top lane, right?
top lane. Yep.
So now Dreadful has a number of possibilities he has going through his head of who he wants to play against this Cho'Gath. We are going to see who it is.
And I mean, Cho'Gath being a pretty safe pick.
Yeah.
Talking about patches, right? With the pick
Ooh,
that they have,
the
picking up
Gwen.
that Gwen in that top lane, I like that. But Cho'Gath getting a couple of buffs, buff to a W damage, buff
Hmm.
to R cooldown as well, and buff to the passive mana regen.
Yeah.
So all or not passive mana regen, but passive mana gained. So just overall an over the board Cho'Gath buff in
Yeah.
general. So I think seeing kind of like a little bit of a tank matchup, Gwen can shred,
Yeah.
right? And we've seen Dreadful's Gwen come out a lot of the times, and we've seen it just be very comfortable for
Yeah.
him, especially playing into these tanks, right? The whole thing about Cho'Gath is you're very slow, right? You're very tanky, but if you can get that knock up into the silence, that's a great trade for you. So Gwen being able to dash out of that knock up, make sure that Cho'Gath can't engage from any distance further than wherever Gwen wants to be with that Gwen W is pretty insane. So
And I think this kind of fits Valpo's kind of playstyle, right? You have a little bit more of a team fighting comp on the side of a BU, right, and not more of a split pushing, right? And that's what Valpo want. They want a team fight because that's what this Valpo team is really good at. They're really good at those 5v5 team fights, right? And you saw in the second game when they had to choose between the split pushing York or the team fighting, right? And it really made them think, right, in what they had to do, right? Compared to game one where it was just fight, 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 and that's what Valpo's good at. So this draft from both teams really, I think, plays better into Valpo.
I definitely would favor Valpo in this matchup here. Um, BU having a lot of scale as well,
Hmm.
right? With the Cassidon, with the Cho'Gath, with the Aphelios. Very, very strong scaling comp. But I feel like if you're taking four brand new champs in this series compared to Valpo's five new champions,
Hmm.
I would take Valpo's champs.
Yeah,
But I mean, granted, hey, I have a little bit of caster bias. Who
yeah,
can blame me?
yeah.
But going
But
into this matchup, if we're looking at top lane, right? We talked about kind of using that dash proactively against Cho'Gath, making sure because Cho'Gath likes to close distances. right?
Hmm.
Using that dash to kind of keep him at bay, keep him from hitting those abilities. Then in the jungle, you have Jarvan 4 versus Trundle, both very melee heavy matchups, right? Wanting
Hmm.
to dash in. I think the biggest thing that's going to be changing them in the jungle is who can attack those lanes faster.
Yeah.
Because these are not power clears, right?
No.
Trundle is not a power clear until he can really get that Tiamat. Same
Yep.
with Jarvan, right? Not having that AoE damage unless he's getting that knock-up.
Yeah.
So having these kind of guys, you need to be able to jump into your lanes fast. Mid
Yeah. Yeah.
lane, you talked about Kassadin being that melee. You talked about Anivia being one of the strongest champs, especially into melee.
Yeah.
Just being able to zone them out. I think that's a really, really heavily favored matchup in Valpo Esports' side. And then this bot lane as well. I can't really give my opinion because I've seen the Misfortune Taric happen before and I
Yeah.
know how strong it is, but I haven't seen how this Aphelios Ari dynamic works. So
But what's really giving me the push towards Valpo, right, is who knows better how to play against Aphelios than Mr. Aphelios Ordinal, right?
yeah,
He
then
knows he
then
knows
the
how to
like
play the
80%
champs.
pick rate
Yeah,
Aphelios, yep.
he knows how the champ works in and out. He knows what the weaknesses of the champ are, right? He knows the strengths, right? So
Yep.
that will really help him playing into this lane, right? He just needs to be able to communicate that with Steamroller, right? With the rest of the team, right?
Yep.
Being able to communicate those
And
weaknesses.
Tarek and Misfortune having a much stronger level 3 than Aphelios Ari,
Yeah.
in my opinion, right? Um, Being able to get in, get that or get that stun,
Hmm.
right? The healing sustain that you can get, especially with Aphelios starting with Green Gun, that kind
Hmm.
of chip damage can be strong. So having that and being able to just Q right through it, get that healing, get that extra armor from the W. All of those early game trades I think are favored towards Valpo's side, and why that matters is I think we'll see Jarvan 4 path that way immediately.
Yeah.
I don't see any hesitation coming from Jarvan, especially if Anivia is going to be zoning Kassadin backwards. There's not going to be a gank opportunity there. You really want to leave Cho'Gath and Gwen in their lane alone. You don't want to give Cho'Gath a chance to turn on someone, right? And you
Hmm.
can trust Gwen to stay alive. Gwen has a lot of movement. Gwen can get out of situations easy. And all of this just points back to I should focus bot lane.
Yeah. Yeah. Uh, and I
It's a
think
Trundle top lane.
it's a Trundle top lane.
It's a Trundle top lane.
Okay, that changes a
We're
little bit,
we're
right?
sorry about this, folks. We didn't even pick this up. That's a Trundle top lane.
Yeah.
Um, that actually changes the game a lot because now you have a little bit harder of a matchup for Gwen because Gwen's main thing is it's hard to cover distance against her,
Yeah.
right? She has her little bubble that she puts up that can't be attacked from, but Trundle doesn't care because
Yeah.
Trundle, all of his attacks, he runs in your face and just
Yeah.
beats you with a club, right? So who cares about any zoning or anything like that? Gwen can dash away, but it's going to be a lot more of a harder matchup. While Cho'Gath ganking, is going to be a little bit tougher. I feel like in
Also,
this matchup.
Also, you have to realize with Cho'Gath's R, right? Later in the game, right? It does so much more damage towards those objectives, right? So
Yep.
not only will he have that 1200 smite, he'll also have that huge ult, right?
Yep.
So really, when you're Valpo, right, and now you're looking towards objectives, right? You got to take care of that Cho'Gath, right? Because
Definitely.
you can't let him go into you can't because you can't really fight objectives, right? Because he'll just be able to walk up and steal it because he'll be able to do so much more damage so much faster.
I mean, junglers talk about all the time counting numbers when you take objectives, right? You want to count to, for the old smite, you want to count to 900. For the new one, you want to count to 1,200. You're trying to predict when these numbers come up. With now, with Cho'Gath having that huge R, having that huge eat, he can now smite plus that in
Yeah.
tandem. That is like 2,000 damage immediately. You have to start timing your smites better.
Yeah, yeah. That I think this is a shock too for Valpo, right? Out there, they're like, okay, well, we planned for the Cho'Gath top and the Trundle jungle, right? So now Dreadful really has to change his game plan about what he's gonna do in this lane, right? How
Definitely.
he's gonna play this lane. And really for the rest of the team, right? Because now they're like, okay, we're not getting a Trundle coming to our lane, we're getting a Cho'Gath, right? And that really changes how ganks work, right? Because Trundle, like you said, is much more in your face, right? All of his things are in your face, right? But with Cho'Gath, right, he just hits like in the up, and then he can silence you, right?
Yep.
And just the follow up on that, right? So very different ganking, like how they gank, right? And especially like clears, right? Do Valpo know how fast Cho'Gath clears, right? Do they know where he's going to be, when he's going to be, right? With Trundle, you can kind of guess that because it's a jungler, right? And they're used to playing it and playing against it, right? So they're kind of used to it, right? But they're not used to this Cho'Gath jungle.
Yep. And now with the Cho'Gath new buffs, right, he has a lot more damage to him.
Yeah,
His R is on a lot less of a cooldown right now. Before Cho'Gath R never really went on a cooldown. It would always be 80 seconds no matter what the level was. The only thing that would increase was the damage and the
yeah,
like range that it would eat at. But now it goes down 10 seconds every single upgrade. So you can get a max of 60 seconds and then eat more people.
yeah,
So obviously getting a massive Cho'Gath is one of the scarier things in this game.
mhm,
And we already knew how Valpo struggled with having those heavy tanks.
yeah.
So we'll see how they kind of counteract that this game. You do have the Gwen, you do have the PTA Misfortune, and you have Anivia just to kind of zone off other people from helping those tanks.
Yeah.
So we'll have to see. I mean, 30 seconds till we get into this delay. We are going to take a short break really quick just to get the cameras off, and we will be right back to you guys in a minute. And we are back, ladies and gentlemen, starting up Game 3 of the NECC Grand Finals. Valpo Esports won, BU Spear won. A couple of matchups. Looking at these summoners, looking at these runes, you do have the Hail of Blades Cho'Gath, right?
Yeah.
Trying to get that attack speed going, especially with that passive E that he has. The Electrocute, PTA, really all normal runes outside of that, right?
You do see Era finally taking teleport, right?
Yep, yep.
Finally taking teleport. I wasn't sure,
Well, I mean, is with Cassidy, it's kind of suicide if you don't
Yeah,
take that teleport because he is not gonna kill anyone early.
yeah. But another thing is you see exhaust coming with both ADCs, right?
Yep.
Um, uh, no cleanse, right? I thought maybe we would see a cleanse from the Aphelios, right? Because of
Yep. The
of
Ari.
the the Tarek and the Anivia, right? Both with huge stuns
Yep.
that can just instantly kill you.
But it looks like they're just trying to stop that all in,
Yeah.
right? I mean, the most dangerous part about facing a MF Tarek bot lane is that one stun and you're at death chance.
Yeah.
Right there's a point there where you actually may just lose the fight straight off. So having that exhaust, having that getaway, with the flash as well, kind of just
Also,
what you need.
also another interesting thing is the MF is starting longsword, right? She's not going the Dorn's Blade.
Yep,
She is starting the longsword 3 pots, right?
damage.
And then and then you have the Aphelios with the Cole.
Yep. I mean, you're looking at this mid lane as well. A couple of melees. What you want to do, especially as Kassadin, and there's the stun as well. Trying to get an electrocute proc, maybe, but not being able to get much. What you want to do as Kassadin is all your trades come from your Q, right? You
Hmm.
step up, Q, get the trade, Q. You're just trying to get that passive shield and win that. And then by attacking, you're able to move those minions back to your way, right? And it's
Hmm.
kind of what we're going to see in this mid lane, but the issue about that is when you walk up,
Yeah.
you're going to get hit by that Anivia Q. That's why Anivia is so dangerous, because her zonies is just insane. And they're about on the same cooldown as well.
Yeah. And um, if you're oh man, I just blinked. What was I gonna say? I just blinked.
No
That's
worry. I know it's kind of it's kind of like droning watching these early
yeah.
games over and over and over
Oh,
again.
I know what I was gonna say. If you're Valpo, right? You kind of want to do what BU did in the second game, right?
Yep.
You want to cut down the momentum that BU has, right? And you really want to take the game, build that momentum for yourself.
And I mean, we saw right there was a failed gank by Cho'Gath. They are just
Yeah.
trying to run that momentum like you were talking about as fast as they can. Nivea being able to hold on to that Q, get that shot. But you see, Cassidy's already half health.
Yeah,
Uh,
a thing with melee into range matchups, especially in the mid lane, right? You're trading your health for the minions, right? So you see a low uh, Cassidon, right? But he does have that CS lead, right? So that's really what he's doing.
yep. And I mean, this wave is going to push back into Anivia, so hopefully get back up on it. But a couple of shots in this bot lane as well. Tarek getting hit by that charm, almost going down, but then healing back to half, at least like more than half, with only like a pot and just this Q. Not
Yeah,
even using all of his pots there as well.
already a back in TP from the Cassidon just to get the tier and the refillable.
Yep.
But we do
And
see
there's a huge knock,
first blood
stun
for
and
MF.
first blood going to MF.
we do see the Jarvan coming down here too. If he can hit this EQ, we
There
could
might
see
be a
another
flash
kill.
here. There's
Gets
the
flash.
And there's another engage in this top lane as well. Trundle Pillar coming up, but Dreadful getting a lot of shots in. Pretty good trade, being able to dash out somewhat even.
Yeah, good first blood from Valpo, right? Like I said, getting that momentum, right? They have that momentum just a little bit now. Getting that kill on MF, which is huge, right? MF, very, very scary if you can get kills on her, because her auto Q auto, right? One of her main combos, right? So much damage.
Yep. I
Oh,
mean,
we do see a
push
flank
shots
coming
out as
from
well.
here from the back from Jarvan.
Yep. Trying to
Gets
go in
the
and just
EQ.
bait a little bit. Emma Jacimbo
Gets
getting
the
the flash
flash.
out. The flash from Emma Jacimbo,
the
the
wall.
wall as well, the stun going
Stun.
and hitting, and the
And gets
E
a kill.
finishing off the Cassidon.
Huge kill from Jacimbo right there.
Huge kill. I mean, we saw him walk up for the bait, right? Which is what you want to do with that jungle. But what's so interesting about Anivia is he's really not scared of
Yeah.
dying there because he
Because
has
of
that
his
passive revive.
yeah.
Exactly. If he gets that passive revive, it's nothing. Dreadful popping the
Oh
ghost and
my,
being able to pick
Dreadful.
up the kill. Conqueror proccing.
Much better first game start already from Valpo, right? They
Yep.
cut. I feel like you cut down the entire momentum from BU just from this game. A death in every single lane, and you got kills on 3 carries, right?
Yep.
It's not just anybody. Your 3 main carries: the Gwen, the Anivia, and the MF, right? Very, very big.
Definitely.
And you can see, right? That was so big because Cassidy died, right? But all he did was able to, when he went back, all he could buy is a control ward, and he already used that TP, so he had to walk to lane, and Anivia already pushed a wave under that tower, so he lost so much.
I mean, great movement around the map, especially from Jarvan, from Vector.
Yeah.
We talked about being active. A couple of failed Cho'Gath ganks, but now looking at this, Mischarm from Ari. Looking at it, we've had Jarvan gank mid, be successful, gank bot, be
And there's
successful
that
as
level
well.
6 already.
Yep.
And that wall, that's
You're
huge, and
just
the
seeing
stun.
that damage as well. The Q mirror
No
not
flash,
being enough.
no R to escape for the Cassidon. Very, very low. But yeah, I think Vector really does not get a lot of credit on this team, especially you're always talking about Dreadful or Jacimbo, right? Or even the first game, right? We were talking about Thonk Senpai, right, on that Zeri. But Vector sets up these plays perfectly, right? He's always making an influence around the map and setting up things for his team.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, he's been moving around. He's been active, right? We saw the first game really moving around, trying to get that spacing for his team. Second
Yeah.
game fell a little bit behind, especially because of that matchup that they had. Third game, getting a better matchup, coming into it, being aggressive, getting his team this lead. And now, hopefully, Valpo, a huge
what a
stun up
huge
here as
stun.
well. And the kill going to Steamroller, picking off that Ari as Aphelios backs up here. Exhaust coming out as well.
Yeah, this is already a 2K gold lead. 7 minutes in the game. That's massive for this early in the game. But just all around great stuff from Valpo. Good engage from the Tarek. Oh, we are going to see another fight here top lane though.
Yep, there is the R as well in the dash.
R
being
for
able to
R
pull
trade.
for R. Not getting much. Another dash back in from Dreadful. I mean, we have bot lane setting up around Drag here. Getting this Ocean Dragon. A couple of dashes in. Probably not going to be tested unless
Oh.
Cho'Gath jumps over the wall,
Cho'Gath
maybe
just
looking for
jumps in
E. And
and
blue
steals
team
it, though.
steals it. Jarvan picking up the kill on Cho'Gath, but Cho'Gath eating the dragon. And we're talking about how dangerous Cho'Gath is.
We see the Cassin.
Getting the
Ordno
R,
saw this coming.
maybe trying to get the R over the wall,
Vector
but Vector
gets the
picking up
kill.
the double kill.
Valpo lose the Drake, right? But they pick up 2 massive kills on the Cho'Gath and the Cassidon.
Yep.
Very, very big for Valpo.
And while it is Ocean Drake, right, and that health regen is important for these laning phases, especially early, taking 2 kills for that Drake is not as important, right? You want people to get ahead in their lanes, and I think even though you did lose that dragon, you at least picked up something for it.
Yeah. I think Ocean Soul in the lane phase is actually really massive, right? That extra healing in lane is very massive. So that was very big for Cho'Gath to get it, right? Very, very good steal, right? And that's what we talked about with Azar, right? You
Yep.
have to watch out with that because he will take objectives.
And we do have a charm in this bot lane as well. A lot of damage, but
On
Vector is
Aphelios.
coming down looking for a gank here. And the knock up, the flash coming from Aphelios, the R from Vector, and Vector's going to walk out under tower. Ordinal R coming out, but a little bit excessive as that death is already there. Cho'Gath does look like he's walking around. You have to be careful.
At a 4K gold lead.
Yep.
9 minutes in the game. That is insane for this early on in the game. Valpo are coming out this game 3 trying to make a statement, right?
They're going to need to start getting those objectives too, because that goal lead is only useful if you're able to use it with your team. The flash coming out from Trundle, but I don't think it will be enough as Dreadful picks up another kill with Gwen.
Yeah, I mean, we thought maybe this Gwen wasn't going to do so well into the Trundle, right? Just because, hey, he wasn't expecting it. Trundle pretty good into Gwen, we thought, right? But Dreadful just seems to think otherwise, right?
Yep.
He seems to be playing this matchup really, really well. Already having 2 kills in this lane.
Definitely. I mean, it looks right now Gwen is super, super strong.
Yeah.
Especially it only gets worse and worse. Having a fed Gwen is really dangerous. Obviously, building that Rift Maker, having that leeching layer. Couple of shots in this top lane again, chipping Cho'Gath to like almost half before taking this kill.
Yeah, just now we're probably gonna see Valpo use their gold lead to start looking for this Herald, clearing vision right now. But Cho'Gath is on this top side, so they do have to watch out. But really, really good trades for the Anivia against this Cassin, like you said, right?
It's such a hard lane to play into as Cassidon, so having that Anivia take is just super, super strong.
Yeah, but I mean with Cassidon, right? You gotta you can't forget, right? Level 16, right? Just getting that level 16 is really what you're trying to do as Cassidon, right? So if he can get to that level 16 and not be so far down to where the game is not winnable, right? Then that's something that Valpo needs to look out for.
Definitely.
But we do have a dragon in 1:30.
Yep, we do have the flash stun as well. Ordinal picking up the kill on Ari, being able to secure that kill, probably forcing her to reset before this next dragon, getting the plating as well. There's going to be a little bit of an engage here in this Rift Herald. Cho'Gath kind of being set out here. The silence and then the R, the flash over the R from Jarvan. Dreadful being able to R as well, picking up the kill on Cho'Gath. But Vector is getting a little bit cornered here by this Cassidon and by this Trundle. Anivia is now here as well. Dreadful playing this fight. Cassidon picking up the shutdown on Jarvan, being able to R back in, probably looking to go pick up top wave as the 2 people back off. Bot lane, Ordinal and Steamroller just walking up. I mean, we talked about how strong they are early game, and they're really using that advantage now.
This MF is looking real scary.
Yep, MF is going to start to become a really big issue for this team. I mean, having Aphelios fed early game is one thing, right? But MF being fed this early game is a whole different thing.
Yeah.
Right, it's something that you really have to worry about. Dreadful just playing a little bit of a funny ring around the rosy game, trying to get this plating. Makes sense. I mean, still winning this trade eventually.
Yeah, I mean, you're just at this point, if you're Dreadful, right? You're 3-0 against this 0-2 Trundle. You're very, very confident, right?
Yep.
In this game, right? All of Valpo really is right now, right? You're up 5K gold already. 13 minutes in this game. We are going to see a bit of a fight,
A
but
lot
I
of
mean,
trades going in Castan's favor. I mean, being
yeah.
in the range.
But like you said, even if he's going to have to kill Anivia twice, right? Because
Yep.
of her passive right now.
And it looks like
Oh,
there's going to be a gank in this bot lane as well. MF probably picking up the kill on Ordinal as well. Ari flashing and dashing away.
yeah, this bot lane
Cho'Gath
is
maybe looking to try and
struggling.
catch someone here. Looking for a knock-up as well, hitting that, but seeing that the bot lane is there as well, probably not wanting to take this fight as Steamroller is there now, the knock-up, but just
Yeah,
blocking the stun.
th
Couple of
this is
shots as well, PTA proccing.
this is really good, right? They're not really trying to kill the Cho'Gath here. They're just trying to zone him, right? So he can't get that R or the smite off
Yep.
on this dragon, right? Because like you said, right, you need to take this gold lead, convert it into objectives, right? And that's exactly what they just did, right?
Yep.
Now we're looking at a massive gold lead already, 6K. This
Definitely.
is looking really, really bad for BU. It's getting out of hand really, really, really fast.
I mean, biggest thing is they just have to start focusing on this Herald. They really need these towers. Now that plating has just dropped 2, they missed their chance to get back on a little bit of that gold. So they're going to have to force a couple of these fights here. While Valpo is now back in the driver's seat.
Yeah, and Valpo, like it's a best of 5, right? They knew that you didn't have to win every single map, right? It's a best of 5. It's okay to lose one, right? But it's how you bounce back from that loss,
Yep.
and the way they're bouncing back from this loss, is just insane.
I mean, we are seeing 5 new champs,
Yeah,
right? This is a lineup that Valpo has never played before. So kind of coming into this game knowing that you're fresh, like there's no need to like force anything. There's no need to try
yeah,
and fight something that you thought you could fight before, but now like a little bit's changed, right? Especially with this new patch. Now you can kind of just focus on, all right, what can I offer for my team?
yeah. Objective bounty's already up for the side of BU. This early.
Yep.
Oh my
And
goodness,
almost
that.
killing Ari
Ooh.
just off of one combo from PTA.
Yeah, that damage is very, very scary, right?
And there's the R as well, forcing Ari to pop R as well, dashing
Yeah,
away.
forced her to back up, and they uh, can't really do anything about it because she cleared the wave. But we do see the Caston walking down, right? Looking, I don't know what he's doing. He might be looking for a tower dive, right? But I don't know if you really win that.
I think they might just be trying to set up to get maybe a shutdown here, but Caston's going to walk back up
Yeah,
after seeing a couple of people in that topside jungle. Nivea just kind of getting free farm in this mid here.
I like that Ordinal is building this last whisper already, right?
Yep.
Getting the armor pen, right? Because you have the Cho'Gath, and you have the Trundle, right? Pretty scary champions, right? And you need some help trying to cut those people down.
Yep.
And he's getting that done early, right?
I mean, while it does delay a little bit else of your build, I think, like you said, over in the long run, it's going to be much, much better
Yeah.
because you see he's going to be able to join these team fights a lot faster. And these kind of objective 4v4s that we're going to start having, especially passing that 14-minute mark, having those evolved teleports is nasty. Also, the Q right there just chipping half of their health.
Yeah, just insane damage from uh, from the MF, right? And there's really nothing you can do about it right now if you're BU, right? The bot lane, you kind of just have to sit back and you kind of just have to take it for right now. But we do see the Cho'Gath coming down, right? He's kind of looking for this gank.
They are pushed up a little bit far here. This may be bad
Yeah.
for Valpo.
They do
Cho'Gath
see it
coming
coming,
down
but
here.
they do get
The
the
stun
stun, right?
coming out,
And we
and
get
the
the
R
TP.
from Tarek as well. And
Oh
that's a
my goodness.
meltdown on Ordinal.
Oh
The
my
TP, the dual
goodness.
TP as well. Looking like they're gonna try and turn this.
Cho'Gath.
MF Jakimbo picking up a kill as well, and then Dreadful just walking through, trying to get these R's in. The stun
the
as well,
stun.
and that's probably going to be it for this
Oh my
Aphelios.
goodness.
Dreadful picking
That's-
up that final kill.
I don't know if that was some miscommunication about who was going to TP or what, but it all works out in the end, right? You get 2 kills, right?
And you
you're
have
not
Jarvan.
really
You have
yeah,
Jarvan to go match that top lane Trundle as well.
Jarvan matching the top lane, right? And then you have Dreadful just walking mid to catch that mid wave. So no one on BU really got anything from this, right?
Yep.
Just very, very well played team play from Valpo.
I mean, we talked about them splitting up too much, right? Especially going into those fights, knowing that they got ganked right there, calling out, hey, we got TP, right? Knowing after 14 minutes you have that evolve, just drop down to that top lane, group back up together, win those fights, and that's kind of how they're taking this game away. Looking at an 11k gold lead, or close to a 10k gold lead, sorry,
Yeah,
in this game.
you're at about a 9K gold lead, right? 18
The
minutes
number
in the
just keeps
game.
going down as we
Yeah,
talk about it.
yeah.
My fault, my fault.
No, it's all good, but like 18 minutes in the game, that is insane, right? And
Yep.
then you're gonna see them starting to dragon stack too. With now we're having Cloud Soul spawning up. Dreadful doesn't even care about the Trundle, right?
Yep.
He's just getting the tower, right?
The issue is he does have that Cho'Gath there who is maybe eat him, but
He does eat
Trundle
him,
picks
right?
up that kill.
But that just means, right? I don't think Cho'Gath is gonna be there.
And we have the flash
Or
and the E as
oh
well.
my goodness!
That's just
That
one
damage
Q
from
and she's gone.
MF.
Yeah.
There's no countering that. That's why you do not feed an MF early, right? She will snowball and do crazy damage, right?
MJ Kimbo does get smited here and knocked up as well. Heartsteel proc on this Cho'Gath.
But
The
the
wall
wall,
stopping the flash going over.
but
Just a
I
couple
mean,
of shots going down.
yeah, the dragon was free, right? They saw where Cho'Gath was. Once again, Valpo doing really good to zone
And the
Cho'Gath.
flash and a huge
Oh my
stun up as
goodness,
well. And the knockup
so much damage.
comboing with the R from Ordinal. The R coming out from Jarvan as well. Stopping that Cho'Gath, getting that stun. Rift Herald dropped mid. Cassidy being forced to back up. MF Jakimbo throwing that E.
Yeah, if you're Valpo, right, you just back. You just take this tower, you back, and then you go straight to Baron, right? Who is
Yep.
stopping you? You're at almost a 10K gold lead, 20 minutes into the game.
Definitely.
Oh my
There's
goodness.
another kill from MF Jakimbo.
Getting another charge.
Just getting chipped
Do you
as
even
well.
need it, or
And
do
they
you just
might
end
just
the
walk
game?
it down right now.
This is a
They have so
statement
much
from
damage.
Valpo.
They have so much damage that they're probably going to take this inhibitor and back. I don't feel like they're going to stay much longer.
Yeah, you just back up, right? You either back or you just run straight to Baron, right?
Yep.
You either do the two, right? And then you just look to end the game because this gold lead is getting out of control. Yeah, you just back and you go straight to Baron.
Yep. I mean, no reason to even worry about it. And I feel like if BU tries to contest this, they might just go down, right? I don't see them hanging any much longer around this Baron, especially because if they try and fight this, Valpo is so far ahead that they might just get team wiped in game over. The only way that they preserve this game is if they just accept that, hey, Baron is going down, we have to try and cut our losses and just play for this mid lane.
Yeah, BU picked a really scaling
Oh,
comp.
and it looks like Ari might get caught out here as well. The dash
Yeah,
away, but
the
the
R.
R and then the flash. The
Burn
burn
might just do it though. Nope. So
not
close.
being enough. The
But-
heal from Ari passive. But Dreadful is going to run down here. Just kind
Yeah,
of face
just
up
free
on this
Baron.
Kassadin. Yep, and Baron is just going to be uncontested. Trundle is sitting outside of it, but I mean,
now Valpo know where Cho'Gath is, right? So now
Yep.
Dreadful can just kind of zone this Cho'Gath, right? So now he can't walk up.
Yep.
But I mean, BU picking a really scaling draft with this Cho'Gath, with this Kassadin, but it doesn't seem to matter because Valpo are looking to end this super early.
and there's the kill on Cho'Gath, and it looks like they're just going to 5-man this
Yeah,
mid. Aphelios is
Valpo
bot
just
side,
needs to
but-
run this down, right? No one's really stopping you, right? You have so much gold. You have minions.
Ghost,
You don't-
Ghost popped on the Gwen walking down. You have minions. Aphelios takes that
All
tower.
you need is
probably
those
gonna
two
back,
minions.
but it's not going to be enough, quite frankly. You have the super minion. You're just going to go take these towers. And that's going to be game 3 for Valpo Esports.
A 22-minute win, an absolute statement coming from Valpo. Not messing around. They had a struggle game 2, right? You thought maybe okay, this series looking a little closer. Valpo, no.
Yep.
This is how we want the rest of the series to go. Right?
I mean, that was just a stomp, right?
Yeah, that was
that's what
just
we talk about in game
absolute
3. That's
stomp.
what you want to look for because you had the bot lane domination, right, from Misfortune. It became unplayable for their bot
Yeah.
lane, right? There was not enough time to scale. You had Jarvan 4 going around the map, right? Vector's Jarvan 4 is becoming nasty, right?
Yeah.
Obviously, practicing a lot with Zaxter, our other jungle, who does main Jarvan 4 a lot. Just kind of getting that practice is really paying off because you can see kind of the team play he has. The Anivia being able to stop Kassadin from just hyperscaling too
Yeah.
fast. Even just a little bit of that zoning is all you need. Gwen being apparently a good matchup into Trundle. We
Yeah.
saw him being able to play that. Quite frankly, we were a little bit unsure in the booth here, but seeing that now, a lot happier with the outcome that it had.
But yeah.
And
It seemed like the mind games that BU were trying to play on Valpo with that Trundle Cho'Gath swap, right?
Yep.
Didn't really work out, right?
Yeah.
But I mean, wow. I mean, it was kind of a game where you blinked and you missed it, right?
Definitely. I mean, it looks like here for game four, we will have a sub in the bot lane. We're going to have Dreadful still in the top lane, and we'll probably still have Vector in that role, or MF Jakimbo in that mid role. But we will have Thunk Senpai
Yeah.
as our ADC here, just to take a peek at kind of the combos that we can look for before this next game, right? You have that Zeri back open. You have that Ez now back open. We know that
Mm-hmm.
Steamroller likes to play Nautilus, likes to play Taric. People
Yeah, it
that can
is
kind of
Vector.
tank there. Yep. So it opens up kind of a different angle that they can play at, and we're gonna see really if Valpo can play against that,
Yeah.
or if not Valpo, but if Bradley
BU.
University can play against that. So
Yep.
we are gonna take a slight break here before we go into Game 4 of the NECC Grand Finals, and we'll catch you guys soon. And we are back, ladies and gentlemen, for Game 4 of the NECC Grand Finals. Valpo Esports versus Bradley University. Valpo right now up 2-1 in the series. This could be the final game, right? Looking at these drafts, who do you think BU kind of picks up against, right? Who do you think BU tries to ban out here?
I think you need to go for the Zeri, right? After the first game, Zeri was super super strong, right?
Yep,
But you might see the Fiora ban. I think that's what it was.
yeah, most likely the Fiora ban.
It's either the
Um,
Fiora or Zeri, right?
yep,
And you really don't want to give either to. Uh, oh,
Dreadful.
yep. There's a
And there's the
Zeri.
Zeri, yep. And I mean, if we're talking about lineups really quick, right, with our roster, if we take a quick peek at who we
Oh,
have
and there's that.
playing,
There's
there's
that
that
Fiora
Fiora first pick,
first
yep.
pick first,
Stop it
but
from the ban. But if we take a quick peek at our roster for Game 4, we have Dreadful in the top lane, Vector in the jungle, MF Jakimbo. But now we have that Thunk Senpai back in for Game 4 and Steamroller for 14, right? Obviously, you don't want to have them pick up on Ordinal too much. You had a really great first game from Thunk, way to set the tone coming out. Might as well have him finish it out.
yep.
Having that Zeri ban, I think what we talked about a little bit with Valpo's team is we might see an Ezreal here,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah, yeah, we do see the Yorick though. He was very very good in their win, their second game, which is really kind of with the catalyst for them to win.
Yep.
But I think Fiora, I think is a little better matchup, right? But we do see that Ari support once again.
Yep, you have to be careful though. Fiora does get
Oh,
overwhelmed pretty quick, and you have
mhm.
the Ari pick for the support, so might as well pick that Nivea. We might have a mid pick here and probably an ADC, I'd say,
Yeah,
right?
you're probably looking towards an ADC here, right? We
Yep.
might see
And there's
Ezreal.
a
Oh,
misfortune
misfortune. I guess
again.
I know
Yep.
nothing,
I
right?
mean, if it makes
Yeah,
sense though, right?
yeah,
With how well that misfortune did last game, having Thunk Senpai who also can play MF and plays very aggressively too, right? Which complements MF's playstyle a lot. Seeing how well it did, BU with this third pick, probably looking to just pick out their bot lane, get it done, but then in these next two bans, maybe try and ban that Taric. You
yeah.
saw how many E's, you saw how much how much pressure and how much of an issue it created. We do have a new pick.
Victor.
Yep, the Victor coming in from BU, which is a solid pick mid lane, right?
Yeah,
Good mid game to late game, right? Heavy scaling, which you can get that evolved E. And there's the Taric ban for BU.
we do see the Mordekaiser band
Mordekaiser
too.
ban as well, and the Nocturne ban as well.
Yep.
And we have a little bit of celebration in the background, so it looks like Valpo might get the pick they want here.
Yeah.
We do have a click something in the chat really quick. It looks
Oh,
it looks
just a
like there's
little
a
bit of
comment on us
tomfoolery.
here. Yeah,
Yeah, just a little bit of
just a little bit
tomfoolery.
of goofing here, just a little bit
But
of silliness.
yeah, I think Valpo really in that game three found out the weakness of BU, right? Which is their bot lane, right? And that's really where they played a lot towards in that third game, right?
Yep.
Because we saw that MF really take over the game.
Definitely. I mean, we saw MF take over the game. We have Jinx, which is a little bit more range, right? Especially when using that rocket launcher. Important into laning, into Misfortune. Obviously, not a very strong early game champ, unless like
No.
you're double lift sitting here.
Yeah.
But outside of double lift, yeah, you
Oh,
kind of
we
have to
see
wait a
the
little bit to scale.
bard.
Please lock in the bard. For people that don't know, Steamroller 14 favorite character probably is Bard. Playing this
Yeah.
bot lane gets the opportunity with Thonk being able to synergize it,
Gets that
picks the
bard.
Bard, and we have a game for the ages here right now in this game 4. We have the picks that we want on Valpo's side, and I can see why people are celebrating right now.
I
Uh,
think the real celebration might be for the jungle pick, right?
oh
Because
yeah,
we saw the Nocturne ban, and that's when they really got excited.
yep.
So
Because now you
we
have
get
that
the Jarvan.
Jarvan. You
Yeah,
you don't
and
have
that
to worry about
Jarvan,
that Mordekaiser either.
yeah,
Yep.
and that Jarvan was huge in game
Mhm.
three, right?
Yep.
Making so many plays for Valpo. Vector really going across the map, really going in every single lane, making influence with that Jarvan, right? Very, very, very good pick.
Yep.
And we are going to see a
And
Volley Bear jungle.
I was about to say with Bradley, seeing that Jarvan 4 being picked up, what you want to choose for your jungle is you want someone aggressive, right? You
Yeah.
want someone aggressive in that early game. Volibear can fill that role. While scaling wise, you're not really looking for either of these champs, right? Not exactly the best scalers in the game. You definitely have the engage that you want in those early games to try and give people leads. If you can give that Yorick lead like they saw in game two, right? Give
Hmm.
him that lead against Fiora, allow him to kind of play his game, get a lot of chip damage off, and kind of force her back in, then he can split lane effectively. If Victor, while it may not be like the best move, right, with
Yeah.
Jinx, even if you give Jinx that one kill with her passive, she's able to snowball that into two, two turns into four, blah blah blah, right? We move on and on and on. The point is that Volibear now opens up a lot for their team just as the Jarvan 4 pick happens. So it's gonna be who can be more aggressive in jungle, because right now looking at it, I would take Valpo Esports' laners over BU's laners, and that's not like player wise. I mean champ wise,
Yeah.
because the Jinx Ari, right, is gonna be less strong than the MF Bard early game, right?
Hmm.
And this is strictly laning phase here. I would take the MF in the Bard over that just laning phase.
Yeah.
I would take the Fiora over the Yorick in laning phase. The Anivia Victor, I actually can't really tell much about the matchup because Anivia does like to trade a lot and likes to hit her stun, but Victor does keep his distance a lot. So it's a lot harder to hit those trades and actually get that electrocute proc off. But
Yeah,
if
Victor just likes to sit back, use his Z to kind of just farm, to
yep.
get his passive up, get those stacks. Uh,
And I mean, you have to look at it as well. Victor Q is the same range as Anivia E.
yeah.
So when you have both of them trading, Victor can get that shield to block that Anivia E. So
Hmm.
it can be a little bit tough there to actually try and play around that. But again, it's gonna be if their junglers can play more aggressive,
Yeah.
right? Because Jarvan can visit lanes and just give an early lead, but Volibear is a great jungler to gank, but also counter gank really, really hard because right as Jarvan dashes in, right, his dash is gone for a little bit. Volibear gets that extra move speed from his Q, runs in, stuns. Now Jarvan's in a bad position. So if they can kind of sync up together and play that counter jungling, I feel like that's Bradley University's best chance at getting back in this game, game four.
Yeah, and also the York, right? We saw in game two, the catalyst for that team, just giving the York the resources he needs to be able to snowball into the late game. We saw how good he was early game, right? Being able to get that first kill or
Yep.
that early kill onto the Olaf, and then being able to take that entire lane, right? And uh, Valpo really had no answer to that.
Definitely. Um, just looking at these couple drafts, we are going to take a little bit of a scene transition and take a little bit of a quick break here as we just get these drafts off. We will pick back up after spectator delay and make sure we have all the runes going, we have all the summoner spells, and we'll catch you guys at the beginning of game four.
Talk, Mr. Blake.
And we are back, ladies and gentlemen, for Game 4 of the NECC Grand Finals. Valpo Esports going into this matchup 2-1. Potentially could be the last game, could be the
Yep.
championship final. Um, Gonna take a look at runes and summoner spells here. Make sure don't have anything funky going on. If there is, we figure out about it. Um,
Doesn't look like anything too funky.
nope.
Just pretty normal. I mean, no exhaust on the side of BU, right? But
Yep.
that's about it.
I mean, while the
That's not
exhaust
too
did,
funky.
yeah, while the exhaust did hold some weight, it really wasn't too much of it wasn't too much of a game changer. Obviously,
Hmm.
still really strong bot lane here. Um,
And
biggest thing I want to look for though is we do see like a misfortune back again on Valpo's side, but this time it's
mhm,
played by Thonk.
yeah,
So I really want to pay attention to how differently does Thonk play misfortune.
yeah. Uh, yeah, I think his playstyle, like we talked about in game one with Zeri, right? He's really good at kiting, right?
Yep.
So I don't expect him to like run in, right? He's just gonna look to just poke with the MFQ and the MF auto attack, right, on this Jinx, right? Uh, and really make Jinx use her rockets to get the mana down, right?
Yep.
Use that Jinx range that she has. But also another dynamic in the lane is the Bard, right? So that's gonna de- depend how the MF plays too, right? Because
Yep.
playing with a Bard is very different than playing with the Taric.
I think playing with the Bard, the most interesting part is that you have a little bit more range.
Yeah.
You don't have as much ability to tank for Misfortune, but you have the sustain from Bard heal, and you
Yeah.
have the Q and the E, the movement that you're looking for. So I feel like while the Taric was really strong for getting Misfortune those openings where she could get that quick auto Q auto, right, proc that PTA. I think with Bard, it's just going to be a lot more straight damage.
Yeah.
Because you're not going to find much of a stun unless they can hit him and tie him up between that wave.
Hmm. Also, with Bard is his roaming ability, right? Because he has those tunnels that can go through walls, and he is a very fast roamer. So look for him to be roaming in the mid lane, or even like if they do back,
Yep.
he can look to go towards the top lane. But I mean, once again, we do see Valpo, jungler Vector pathing towards the bot lane, and we do see BU's jungler pathing towards the top lane.
Hmm.
Nothing really different than what we've seen in the last four
Yep.
games,
And we're seeing
or
right now in
last
this
three.
bot lane, especially just the trades that they're taking,
Yeah.
really in Valpo's favor this early game, which is as expected, right? Having a Jinx, having that Ari needing to really be 2 or 3 before her full kit is realized, right? Because
Yeah.
one thing you don't realize, or one thing most people don't pay attention to with like kits in League of Legends
Ooh, that's
specifically,
a lot of damage.
huge trade for BU. Right, I might have jinxed it right as I said that. Really great trade, just being able to hit those long range
Yeah.
shots.
It's Jinx.
It is jinx.
You jinxed
Oh, I did jinx it.
it.
I'ma smack you after this game. Anyways, getting back to the bot lane. Um, with Bard, with the
Oh, we
misfortune,
missed
right?
the cannon.
Oh,
That's
a little bit of
ooh,
a
but the Volibear's
backdash
here.
right there.
Oh,
There's Volibear looking for maybe a call down
just
in the
kind of
queue.
helping York push the lane in or the wave in.
Yep. It just, I mean, not really doing much here. This is what you expect though, right? While there isn't any lanes that are available, maybe mid lane, right, to gank from Volibear's perspective, you need to visit somewhere. You need to at least show presence on the map, and that's what they're looking for here. There's a couple of vitals here. Dreadful being forced to W,
Ooh,
forced to
force the
flash over this
flash.
wall as well. We've seen Firehawk FC be really, really strong with the flash. Emma Jakimbo getting
Ooh.
walled but flashing over. Resurrecting, trying to stay that. Vector maybe trying to dash over this
Yeah, I
wall.
think I'd just give that up.
And first blood is going to Volibear.
Is that the first resurrection he's used on Anivia all series? I don't think it even got to that point in
I
in
think it
game
is.
3,
Yep, but
which is just crazy.
that's what you're looking for. I mean, you want to be aggressive.
Yeah.
And catching MF Jakimbo out of rotation right there, just catching him kind of walking down like that, is what you need, especially having Victor walk up, get that stun as well,
Ooh, we
over
see
the
the
wall.
flash out of Yorick.
Flash
Both
out of York,
very,
a lot of
very
trades
low.
in this bot lane as well. The Q popping off. And that's the range we were talking about with Jinx. Just being able to evenly trade better than Aphelios did in this matchup, because right as Misfortune finishes that, auto, Q auto, and then being able to proc that, not really wanting to stay much longer, Jinx can immediately proc that long range, right? And just start firing it back at Misfortune.
I think a big mistake BU made was giving the kill over to Volibear. I feel like giving that kill to Victor, it gives much more,
Yep.
you get much more out of it, really. Um,
I don't think it's the worst thing right now, though,
yeah,
because
it's not the worst thing, but just like small things like that
mhm.
really help snowball the game.
Yep. It really matters is if Volibear can visit these other lanes and use that
Yeah.
lead that he has, because you can really start to win trade. You can win like ganks and such, right? And 2v2s just purely off Volibear when he has those couple of kills, especially in this early game when he's one of the stronger champs.
And when he gets to level 6, you have to watch out for that tower dive because he can uh,
Disable.
shut down the towers.
Yep. So just a kit that's really tailored to playing aggressively. And
Ooh,
that's
we
what
do
we're
see the
looking for. We
Jarvan.
do see Jarvan coming in, not really hitting the knock up there, the stun as well. Probably just looking to give that kill to Vector as
Yeah.
Anivia is stunned. Not going to be
There's
able
that
to do
Volibear
much,
that
but
you're talking
Volibear
about.
does come in this top lane, getting that parry as well, the dash, and looks like Dreadful
Ooh.
might be able to get out of this here. Volibear not at 6 yet.
That was really, really good. Well done from Dreadful, being able to get out of that situation.
Yep.
Yeah, and then very, very good from Vector to come in. He missed the EQ at first. I think he was expecting the Victor to step back, right?
Yep. I mean,
But
Victor
he
is
did it.
sitting on Flash right now.
Yeah, and he did it, right? So uh, it didn't really matter anyway because he was just able to
Yep.
go ahead and whack him.
I mean, with the kill with Victor, able to go and take that first dragon. But as we see in this top lane, now we're running into more of an issue, right? Volibear has
Yeah.
ganked top twice, hasn't visited bot once, and for this reason right here, if you can give Yorick as many plates as he can, Valpo's going to run into the same issue that they had last time, right?
Yeah.
Because you have Vector focusing on this mid in this bot lane, trying to give them as much advantage as they can, which means that he can't counter jungle that top. You're kind of leaving Dreadful on an island here. And Dreadful on an island, now that he has Fiora, is a little bit better.
Yeah, I feel like the problem was when you picked Olaf, wasn't really a split push champion,
Nope.
right?
And we do have the R coming out from Fiora here. Dreadful just trying to proc it, getting the R, walking in, getting a couple of shots in as well. The parry just to slow, and almost getting this kill here, the heal, and there's the solo bolo kill.
Yeah,
Dreadful
much
on
better.
Firehawk.
Much better than the Olaf. I feel like the problem with the Olaf wasn't really a side or a side pushing character, a split pushing character.
Yep.
But this Fiora is much more of that, right?
Yep.
So
And we
can-
do have a
can
Volibear
answer.
gank in this bot lane.
Ooh,
Steamroller,
nice flash.
flash and E right out of it. Being
do
able
have
to
the
hit
R.
that, the disable under turret, but Donk Senpai is shooting off enough and is going to get that kill. Steamroller actually picks it up.
doesn't
With
matter
just a
who
little
gets
bit
it,
of a
that-
last hit, but being
that is
able to
absolutely
stop that, missing the
Dodges the
charm as
charm.
well, but the ignite and the flash as well, or the flash and the ignite as well, popping off on Donk Senpai. A really, really good job of turning that.
Yeah, I feel like that was looking really scary for Valpo with that Volibear being able to disable turret.
And I
But
think Honestly, the biggest thing right there was that was just a little bit of miscommunication on
Yeah,
BU's half, right? You saw the Volibear jump in, you saw the R, but you didn't see the bot lane follow up like that.
yeah, that could have
Especially,
looked a lot different if the bot lane decided to follow up.
yep, I mean, considering also that Thong Senpai was just following behind, either way, Volibear is most likely dead.
Yeah,
So you kind of have to follow up there, or else you're leaving your jungler, who is trying to gank your lane, out to dry. There's a couple of shots here, again, getting chippy.
some
Dreadful
pinks
just,
top lane.
yep, playing around with those vitals, hitting. That's 4 vitals in this one attack, looking to just all in here. The flash as well, hitting, trying to hit that final vital, getting it, but probably dying to turret here, going down to the Yorick. Looks like both junglers were coming up to try and counter each other, but just gonna walk back here, catch that wave, try and freeze it a little bit for this Fiora.
Yeah, the wave wasn't in the best place for the Fiora, so the Jarvan is really helping fix that wave for her because neither have TP, so
Yep,
they're both gonna have to walk back to lane. But
definitely.
but still a very good kill for the Fiora, right? Because
Yeah, just a couple of shots there. I
sorry,
mean, Emma Kimbo knows that he can play around that Anivia wall, especially
oh,
considering
gets
a
a
huge
stun, gets a
stun and a
flash.
flash over the wall, and
Oh
the R from
my!
Vector as well. He's having
And
Steamroller there as well. Really,
there's
really
that
great
roam.
team play right there. The communication is what you need. Obviously, Emma Kimbo having the vision from Vector, knowing that his stun hit, flashing over wall, hitting the E on the crit. Vector also flashing and then R'ing to finish it off. Um,
And
just
that's a free a free Rift Herald. Sorry, we are having some problems with one of the mics, but uh, really something to look at is we are going to get the Valpo is going to get
Hello?
this Rift Herald. Yep.
We're good to go. Yep, sorry about that,
Yeah.
folks. We do have Valpo getting the Rift Herald over
Ari
E over the
very
wall as
very
well.
weak,
Dunk
but
Senpai
Jinx
walking
gets a
up, but
kill.
Jinx getting the R, finishing off Steamroller. Overall good
Is he gonna
trade, and
get
you
two?
see that. Yep, you see this range now that Jinx has. The heal going under turret, but the shot is going to be barely,
Oh, so low.
very, very close to dying.
Very good play from the bot lane of BU. Uh, really getting Jinx those 2 kills is very very huge
Yep.
because she is a very very scaling champion.
And we're seeing how dangerous now Yorick is compared to Fiora's wave clear. It's a little bit rough. You have to be careful though. You have 2 kills on that Jinx, someone that can scale very, very fast.
This Ari looks like she's staying a little too long. Yeah, the
Yep,
ult
and
comes out to stall for
yeah,
Donk Senpai to come out. Oh,
and
just
Dreadful will get
free
that kill there, and
I guess you
Ignite
don't
will
even
go
need
down to
Donk
Bart.
Senpai.
Yep.
Just 1v1 the Ari.
I mean, might
Ari,
as well.
Ari greeting for a tower plate that she doesn't even get. Very, very weird play. Should have just backed with the Jinx.
Maybe just not really knowing where Steamroller was at the time. Steamroller being able to
Yeah.
throw that R from practically off range, like, practically off vision. We have the TP mid as well coming for Victor. Probably looking to just set up here. You have the teleport, or you have the E over the wall. Just trying to stay safe. But setting up for this next dragon. Cloud
Let's just
Drake,
hope we don't have the same soul. Let's hope for a non-mountain soul.
I would love a non-mountain soul, but
I would love a chem tank.
oh, Chem Tank would be great. A couple of stunts here. You have Dunk Senpai up, Steamroller walking down as well. Maybe
Here's
looking
4
for
for
E over the
Valpo.
wall just to pressure the
That's
wall
the
from
ult over the
Anivia,
wall.
stopping them. But Vector diving all the way in. Everybody taking the E over the wall. Vector
Yeah.
finishing off. Vector 3-0 right now. But
Ooh,
make that
that's
3-1 as Jinx finishes off that kill. Ari getting that kill as well. I think Valpo just overstayed, right?
Yeah.
They did pick up the jungle kill, so I'm not sure if they'll be able to contest Dragon or not, but
Yeah,
just
I don't think I think they chased a little too hard for that volley bear.
Yep.
But I mean, that you should just turn back and maybe look for this dragon. But I think BU is gonna have first dibs on this dragon now.
definitely. I mean, it is like Cloud Drake, so out of all
Yeah.
the dragons that you could give, this is one of the better ones. But just seeing this, you have Volibear back on it. Just probably going to give this dragon away. I don't see
Yeah.
really any
We
contesting.
have the chem tank.
Yep. You have to be careful though, because with finally Chemtech Dragon.
I love the environment that chem tank
Yep.
brings.
And we're gonna see a couple of funky plays come out from it. I feel like
Yeah.
it's used a lot more than people would think. Just a little bit of dashing here, right? Next objective's next objective is gonna be that Rift Herald in 3 minutes, but until then, a little bit of farming. Might see Jarvan try and pop into a couple of these lanes here as Volibear tries to clear his jungle.
Valpo really need to look at how they're going to shut down this Jinx, right? This Jinx is so strong.
And there's the R on the Jinx as well. Dunk Senpai getting knocked in under the tower. Turret's almost dying, but not being able to get him. Thunk Senpai finishing off the minion kills, or the minions doing damage and killing. Vector going in and R'ing over that. Dreadful being able to follow up as well, getting that flash as well, the knock up, and picking up another kill. As much as we're worried about this Jinx climbing, we do have a 4-1 Fiora in that top lane.
The Fiora and the Jarvan really strong.
This might be the Fiora effect, right? Obviously, Jarvan's going to fall off, but Fiora getting this early lead is best case scenario for Dreadful here, especially because we know how he likes to play with leads. He does not waste them.
No, he does not. He really pushes those leads to the max, right?
Yep. I mean, Steamroller sitting in that bot lane. The Volibear is up top trying to stop this Rift Herald with this Victor.
That is first tower for Valpo, so another nice little gold boost.
Yep.
But gold about 1,000 at this point, so not really a big gold lead, right?
Yep.
It's just about even. Nothing to really sway a team fight.
Up the flash as well from both sides. Volibear looking to just try and run him down. The R coming out from Volibear as well. Ari coming up. The resurrection, and it looks like MF Jakimbo will go down to Ari there, to the ignite, to the electrocute.
Yeah, Ari just seems to be taking a lot of kills, right?
Yeah, and I mean, out of all of them,
you
want Victor to get that kill, right?
Yeah.
You want him to get his evolutions faster. Because the kills that he gets on champions, the more stacks he gets for his evolutions. So Ari taking that is not the best thing in the world for him. Vector trying to just save that mid wave. The turret and bot lane flashing down, the flash coming out from Jinx, and the shot over the wall. Joe Joeyson's just going off on this Jinx. You're looking really, really comfortable right now.
I don't know what it is about this red side, but I guess we are going to see this.
And we're going to see another engage as well from Fiora. Huge damage. I mean, that's just half health. You're looking for another vital, and that's going to be another kill. I mean, 5-1 Fiora with tower down. Looks like it's going to be a top V bot game. If I had to take it, you have to be careful. Jinx is going to win those objective fights, but if Dreadful plays with his lead and plays with that side lane potential that Fiora has, it can be dangerous. Vector flashes over the wall with the R from Thunk Senpai, and the shutdown going to Thunk Senpai as well. If Ari stays, might be in a little bit of trouble here.
That's huge, right? Even though the Ari gets the kill on Vector, that doesn't really matter. The main play of that was to shut down the Jinx, and that's exactly what you do. And not only do you shut her down, you give it to MF, someone who we saw last game does really, really well with gold.
Yep. I mean, gold distribution is a huge thing. We talked about it in multiple different games. And I think right now with this Tier 2 tower going down again to Dreadful, I mean, he's really becoming an issue.
Yeah. He's about to have his R up, and knowing Dreadful, he's probably going to go in because that's just him.
He has to be careful, though. I mean, he's getting a couple of pings. There's the Jinx R, just sidestepping it a little bit. And it looks like they're just trying to run him down, but they're going to give up.
Yeah, good communication from his team.
Victor's still walking up. I mean, I'd imagine that he's sitting on a little bit of gold right now.
Yeah, that's good communication from his team, knowing, hey, we don't know where these people are. They're probably coming towards you, and him being able to back out of that.
Yep, and they are going to try and start. They are going to start this Rift Herald up pretty quickly here, allowing Jinx to kind of farm in that bot lane with Dragon coming up. Probably looking for just like a 2 objective sweep, especially with Fiora TP coming back up as well. Any fight that they want to take, they probably can.
Yeah, if you're Valpo, you just drop this Rift Herald mid, and then you walk down to the objective, right? Are you gonna, because that makes BU make a choice. Are you gonna take this mid lane, or are you gonna let this happen right here like this? You're gonna let it happen, or are you gonna go for the objective?
Yep.
What choice are you gonna make?
I mean, sitting there. We do have mid-tier 1 turret go down. Steamroller getting a lot of CC going. The R coming off on the Ari as well. Jinx shooting the R, not being able to pick it up. The Q missing from Steamroller. Ari kind of running down the Ignite as well, picking up another kill on Bard. But because of all that distraction, it looks like Valpo is going to try and take this drag. Smiting that drag and picking up that chem tank. Jumping in, dashing in. Gore Drinker as well, but Jinx picking up that kill.
Yeah, that was just a ult to get the team out, right?
Yep.
That was just, I'm gonna ult on them, cage them in. You guys walk out, run out, stay safe. That's what that ult really was.
And it's nice because you have that tenacity buff now, especially against Jinx slow that she
Yeah.
has. It's really tough, but you're going to see right now, Jinx's wave clear. Oh, a huge
Never
combo right
mind.
there as well. 2 kills going to Thonk Senpai. The Q over the wall from Anivia, and then Fiora being able to dash in and just pressure from the backside with the parry as well. Giving 2 kills again. Thonk Senpai is starting to look dangerous on this MF now. Playing around his team, definitely a little bit less of like a power spike that you expected from last game, but now it's just a
Yeah.
different ball game.
And you saw what happened when the Fiora got on top of the Jinx. Just so much damage. This Fiora is so far ahead.
Yep.
It just really, really scary. And the Jinx really has nothing that she can do about it because she doesn't have Gale Force, so she doesn't have that extra dash to try to get away.
Yep.
Um,
I mean, you're seeing just the power of having that really, really fed Fiora because
Yeah.
you talked about not only just like in that fight, but notice how as Fiora went up, right, you had 3 people from BU rotate over. And as they rotated over, right, once they went on vision, boom, Valpo's immediately on towers. Valpo's immediately on objectives. Sorry about that. Just trying to take as much as they can with the like advantage that Fiora's pressure gives.
yeah. And really, if you look at the scoreboard, the gold is on the Ari, the Jinx, and that's it for BU.
Yep.
And the gold on Valpo is on the Fiora, the MF, and on the J4, right? So
Yep.
you much rather be Valpo in this situation with how the gold spread is.
Definitely. I mean, while Jinx is super, super dangerous and becoming a threat right now, especially in this mid game, the Fiora is just as nasty.
Yeah, and if you're Valpo, you're really not scared of this
Nope.
Ari.
But it looks like we will have a flash and a couple of shots in from Dreadful. Shot the Everfrost, the slow as well, the charm, and there's a shutdown, but it goes to Ari again. Ari is picking up every kill here.
That is huge. You have a Victor and a Jinx right there who you need the gold on, your main damage makers.
The assists, I mean, the assists stack it, but like you're talking about,
It's just it's the gold. That was a huge shutdown,
Yep.
and you're giving it to the support Ari, who's not really. It doesn't make a lot of sense.
yeah. I mean, I don't think that they're really like intending it that way.
It's just
But
lack
there-
of communication. It seems.
Yep. There is the exhaust on the volley bear as he R's in, the flash away from it as well. Just stopping it out a little bit. Dunk Senpai, Steamroller, lane swapping, got 2 in the bot lane as well. A lot of vision around
Yeah.
Baron, setting up like some kind of like secret military base, I guess.
After two 20-minute Barons, I think BU realized maybe we should have some vision on Baron.
Yeah, maybe we should throw a couple of wards down. Probably a good idea. I don't think it was possible this game, but
Yeah.
who knows? You have the shot of the wall taking the final Raptor. There's a little bit anger. No Q there. But now with Baron up and next Chemtech drag coming up in a minute as well, where do you think that the teams should be positioning themselves?
Yeah, I feel like what BU just need to do is play. I mean, what both teams want to do is play around their side lane push, right?
There's the flash from Mari.
Yeah, that's huge. You really just play around these side lane pushes until one team feels, hey, we're strong enough to do this Baron.
It looks like there
But-
might be an engage here on this Ari as
Or
well.
you just make a fight
Shots
like
in.
that,
Thunk
and then you're
Senpai
just
picking
like-
up that kill.
You're just like, okay, we don't need to wait. Let's just start.
And a huge snipe from Jinx from
Yeah.
downtown, getting the shutdown on Thunk Senpai.
Well, they just start Baron anyway.
Yep.
Jinx very scary in this type of situation. Okay, I think they're just backing
Yep.
up
I
now.
don't think that Baron is the play right now,
Yeah.
especially knowing that Thong Senpai just went down. And now that they have their Jinx up as
Oh,
well, Dreadful just looking to be a little bit aggressive here, knowing that he has his jungle behind him. Probably can get a pick here. The flash coming out from Yorick, but there's the Volley Bear, and that's a really bad timing. The knockup from Vector as
ooh,
well. The R coming out from Volley Bear, picking up the kill on Fiora.
just a little
Steamroll in the
too
back,
aggressive.
taking on this Jinx. Yeah, just staying in for a little bit too long. Massive Volley Bear walking up, trying to take this. They
Now,
have to be careful though. Now
now if you're
with
BU, you can't really take Baron, right? But you look towards that dragon instead.
yep,
Oh, this is huge.
they
Huge,
do
huge
have
from Jakimbo. Getting that flash out of
the flash out, but the
Jinx.
R coming from Steamroller as well. Vector jumping in, R'ing on the Ari. Ari gets out as well, but the Ignite going in, trading 1-for-1. Jinx going down, but going down on the other side.
Oh
Thong
my,
Senpai
Thong
picking up
Senpai's
Volley Bear.
still alive.
Yep. Thong going down to Ari again. Ari at 8-4-4 this game.
I guess is Victor the support this game? It seems
I
like
guess
it.
so, and
With
it
how
looks
they're
like Ari. There we go.
There we
Victor
go.
picks up his first kill, and probably his second here as well. Having the
Not if-
revive
not if
on
Ari
Anivia.
has anything to say about it.
Anivia, yep. Dreadful coming in,
Oh.
probably just trying to stall time.
Oh,
There's
was
the
able to-
shutdown as well.
was able
The
to have
parry as
Jakimbo
well.
stay
Trying to
up.
get the healing. The flash away is not going to be enough, but Dreadful dashes away before he can lose anything.
That was huge from Dreadful. Not only did he stay alive, and not only did he get a kill, he was able to keep Jakimbo alive with Jakimbo's passive.
Yep, and that's going to stop
Massive.
anybody from taking this drag here
Yeah.
because you get a couple of resets, and it's going to be back to a 5v5 again.
Yeah, you could see both ADC and jungler from both teams now spawning up and walking towards this dragon area.
Yep.
So we are going to see about an
And
even
they are
fight.
going to immediately
but
start
they're
this,
just gonna
knowing that
start
their
it.
whole team is there. You have to be careful. Jarvan is hovering it right now. We know that Vector likes to hop
Yeah.
over the wall as well. You know, looking for a dash. He does have vision with his ward, and it's going to be there, but red team is just going to take it way too fast with all that damage from their
You
5
got to
team.
watch out for this. Yeah, that
Yep.
was a good wall. You got to watch out for that Jinx right there.
Yep, Jinx is just, she's got too much range right now. Just electing to stay back. I mean, 2-2 in the Dragons. It's an even fight, right? Gold lead, 2K up on BU's side, but you have to remember that a lot of that gold is sitting on that Ari right now.
Yeah,
With the Cosmic Drive, obviously she's having, she's having the time of her life right now.
yeah.
Getting a lot of damage, having those items built, but you just have to be careful because Ari does fall off really,
Yeah.
really hard.
Ari falls off really, really hard, and you're putting all. Seems like you're kind of putting all your eggs into the Ari support basket, right? It's not even an Ari mid lane.
Yep.
It's the Ari support. When multiple times you have super scalers and Victor and Jinx, that Ari is just taking the kills and the gold and the shutdown away from them.
Yep. I mean, it looks good right now for BU and just like where they're sitting, the pressure that they have. But they really have to be careful coming up here because with and there's the flash from Dreadful just
Okay.
trying to get a couple of shots in, but Victor just kind of running around the wall, giving him the juke, but you have to be careful. The R popping off, you have the ghost from Volleybear as well, knocking up, probably going to get the stun, but the parry as well right before the stun, dashing away, just trying to get out. The Bard ult coming in, but missing the Volleybear. Bard coming in here, trying to get a Q, a slow. There's the slow, the electrocute, getting Dreadful out of that situation. Dreadful just kind of teasing him, walking back up.
Yeah, that was a questionable flash for Dreadful.
Yep.
Not really sure what that was. Jinx is hovering here, so they need to be careful because.
Yep, you do also have Jarvan turning this here, because if Jinx pops out, you have Jarvan popping over the wall here.
Yeah.
Dreadful comes, and there's the Jinx. Jinx gets stunned. Vector walking back up. Ari coming in from the side as well. BU having really good positioning right now, kind of just trying to collapse on them in the jungle. Dunk Senpai giving a couple of pings out. Yorick going that bot lane, probably trying to push that wave, knowing that that tier 2 is gone.
Seems like they're really just now playing around this Jinx and this bot lane, the Jinx and the Ari. That's what BU has decided their win con is.
Yep. I mean, you want to decide on that Jinx, right?
Yeah.
And Victor will get there in time if you give him enough time.
Yeah.
And right now, the way that this game's looking, 28 minutes, right? No real clear advantage right now outside of like BU's bot lane lead. It could go for a little bit longer. So I think that Scaling wise is not the worst thing in the world. It's that BU could have gotten here a lot faster.
Yeah, BU could have been here 10 minutes, like 5-10 minutes earlier than where
Yep.
they are.
I
Uh,
think what they're doing right now though is they're collapsing a lot on Dreadful. Dreadful's taking a lot of
yeah,
solo lanes, but there's no objective up to make out of it.
yeah,
Usually when he wants to take that 1v2, 1v3, it's because there's other objectives that they could be taking at the
yeah.
moment.
It's
But
on the other side of the map from the objective, right? So
yep,
right now he's on the other side of Baron because if they want to collapse on him, right? He's like, okay, you want to collapse on me? You have to give this up.
yep, because he's going to 1v1 better than the Yorick, right?
Yeah,
He's going to win that 1v1 versus Yorick, so it causes someone else to be there. If he can play on the opposite side of those objectives, then there's no chance for rotation.
yeah. And we are now seeing
That is a
BU.
fast volley bear.
Yeah, we are seeing BU we are seeing them surround this Baron. They are pushing up
There's the
very
stun as well to
well.
knock up the R away for Volibear, just trying to save him here. The
Yeah,
wall
and
stopping them. Getting that Volibear R out for potentially a fight here is actually huge.
that was very little damage coming in from the Ari with how much they fed her. You talked about it. She falls off. She's already starting to fall off just a little bit.
Yep. I mean, Merc Treads is huge,
Yeah,
right? Merc Treads does a lot of things, especially for Vector. So seeing those Merc Treads in action against Ari, who I mean, going support Ari, you want to go that Cosmic Drive, right? So going that Cosmic Drive second, while it's not the best for like pure damage, just in the role that
this is
she's playing
absolutely
works out.
massive.
Yep, and here's a huge 1v1 is coming from this side as well. But Jinx is here as well, the dash up, probably trying to hop in this bush, just get away from her range. Dashing away, pulling 3 people to her side. What Valpo has to be careful of is you did just see Jarvan 4 back. You do not want to take a fight here. Victor is not here. You have the E over the wall, just kind of getting shots, trying to get this vision going. And luckily they are not going to take this fight. Fiora backing, same with Anivia. Anivia TPing this mid, Fiora TPing this mid, and there's going to be a fight over this dragon.
It just looks like
And
it's
Dragon's
oh,
just going to go, but there's a 4-man ult from Bard looking to try and get in here. 5 people on the side of Valpo, stopping Era in there. Thunk Senpai picking up the kill on Victor. Jinx picking up the kill on Jarvan. Fiora getting that Jinx as well. Volibear being forced to run back. The E over the wall from Steamroller. Walking down their
you
pocket.
see that? You see that Chem Tank blast cone? How far it launches you? But this is looking like a dead York too.
Yep. And there's
I mean,
Yorick as well. I mean, Dragon going to their side for 3 deaths. It matters. It based on what Valpo does with this. Remember that Vector is down, so there's
yeah,
not going to be a Baron turn off for this. And it looks like Volibear is just going to start farming.
yeah. That was not only a 4-man ult from the side of Seymour. That was a 3-man flash right after it.
Yep.
With the volley, or yeah, with the volley, the Victor.
And there's a
the,
kill from the
oh
flash
my
on Thunk
goodness.
Senpai. Knowing his damage was huge there, being able to get that pick. Steamroller
Yep.
kind of take that gold away from that Volibear.
Yeah, we are kind of now starting to see the pain of feeding this Ari, right? Ari stealing all the kills and all the gold. I mean, having the most
And
kills
there's a Jinx
on their
ult,
team.
and the
Oh my
shutdown coming
goodness.
from downtown
The
again.
second
Jinx
time.
can't miss. She can't miss.
But that's
They
not
are
going to
going to try and start up Dragon here, knowing that Volibear is that bot side. They're going to try and just run it. Dreadful dashing over the wall, taking that here. Knowing that Jinx doesn't have their R anymore, I mean, might as well go for it, right?
Yeah,
but they
you
are
don't
going to
have
stop.
the MF for the damage, right? That's
Yeah.
really, really huge. So they have to back off because they don't have the damage to finish it.
Yep, I mean, Valpo has to be careful here. They do have RE back. It's going to be 5. It's a little bit before Misfortune comes back, like
Maybe
15
looking on a
seconds.
collapse towards his Victor.
But it looks like Volibear might recall here, so.
Yeah.
Is any pick. Just really, it's been a scrappy game so far.
Yeah,
Right?
scrappy game, about even in gold, right?
Yep.
2K gold this late, right?
With
It-
BU having 1 tower over Valpo right now, just like one objective fight in this game turns.
Yeah,
you do have
you're-
Jinx in this top lane here. The pressure again, not letting Fiora 1v1. That's the role of this thing. Or not the role, sorry, but that's the goal of BU right now. Just don't let Fiora 1v1 in those lanes.
Yeah, I think a major thing we're going to see, right, is where this game is going to turn. Is this soul fight at 2 minutes and 25 seconds? That's where the game it can be decided because
Yep.
if BU get that's absolutely massive soul for them
Yep.
to have.
Couple of bait pings coming out, knowing that BU has their people behind them, trying to get Ari to walk out a little bit, maybe hit a stun or something. A couple of just chips away, probably organizing, maybe looking for a dash in and an R from Vector here, knowing that he likes to kind of start these. Bard R
Huge.
hitting 2 of them here, walking up the ult over the wall as
That's
well.
a huge
Shutdown
shutdown
on
on
Jinx as
Jinx.
well. Huge damage is gone now from BU side. Dreadful walking down on this Yorick, trying to get these kills. Walking up as well. Getting this shot and knock
Instantly
up.
look
Dreadful
towards the
picking
Baron
up the E over the wall for Steamroller. That's
This-
more than enough that they
this-
need. They can start this Baron. Emma Chikimbo throwing shots over the wall. Thunk
Oh
Senpai picking
my.
up another kill. Ari getting the shutdown on Thunk Senpai, but Dreadful walking in, trying to get the dash and root. Not being enough to hit that. And the shot away, and that's going to be Baron for Valpo.
Yeah, Volley Bear can't really
oh,
do
wait.
anything because the
They
Dreadful
found him.
zoning-
And there's the
There's
final
the
kill.
ace.
There's the ace they were looking for. And it looks like they're just going to try and take this mid
Yeah,
lane right now.
You just go down mid lane and you push as far as you can, right? Because Dragon's not up for another minute, and then you back after this push, and then you go. You look for this inhib because there's no one really stopping you. This Jinx can't really stop you at this point.
Jinx can't do it alone because you still have that R up from Vector. If he's
Yep.
able to dash in an R, it's going to be over for her. But there's not enough damage. They are going to have to just back this here. Steamroller
got the
throwing that R in.
stopwatch. No, that was the stopwatch, I think. No, it was the R.
Yep.
My bad.
But they're just going to have to back here like you talked about. Now this is a free reset for them. You have drag up in 30 seconds. As long as they don't get tied up here and they're able to take this dragon, they just can't give Chemtech Soul.
Yeah.
His biggest thing is...
Valpo down 2k gold, right? And now they're up 3k gold.
Yep.
So just from that one Baron fight, absolutely massive.
Huge fight for them. Huge fight. Oh, Speedy Grump. Just kind of sprinting away from him there. Dragon is almost up right now.
York is in the top lane. He does have TP, though. Just watch out for
Yep.
that.
Most likely trying to TP on this one. Emma Chikimbo throwing up a wall
Almost got
stun.
the wall.
Not hitting on that Jinx. Just trying to punish.
Yeah.
They are coming
Look
out
at the
as
Fiora
well.
mid lane. Fiora's
Yep.
like, okay.
Oh
he
no!
just wanna
Oh,
sit
we're
down.
doing this again.
We're just gonna back
Dreadful
York.
is just walking in this mid lane again.
York finally sees that.
Yep,
He
York
has
is
a TP
TPing back,
he
trying
had
to clear
cancel
this
his back
wave.
and TP. This
Yep.
is absolutely massive.
They have to be worried because Fiora can 1v1 this.
Fiora can 1v1 and she has Baron buff.
And we have another engage here.
Valpo are just happy, kind of just stalling this right now.
Yep, I mean, they're funny playing this game. The wall is coming up, stopping them from helping out this Volleybear. Volleybear jumps in. Victor picking up the kill on Vector, but Misfortune finishing off that
Huge
kill.
ult!
Huge stun, and oh, Misfortune
Jinx
picking up
going
another
crazy,
kill.
Though. Well, you
Yeah.
gotta watch out for Jinx, though.
Jinx does have
Getting
those
the
shots up.
TP in.
And the triple kill as well.
We go.
Anivia going in, but Dreadful is back, and the shot as well.
And that's
the
a free
revive from
dragon.
MFG Kimbo. Dreadful being forced on this dragon.
Second time, Dreadful has TP'd in or came to save Jakimbo from having to die in his passive. Absolutely massive from
But I
him.
mean, just stomping around the rift right now. You see Thunk Senpai on Misfortune. Dangerous. The huge stun that came out from MF Jakimbo, hitting multiple people, synergizing that with the Misfortune ultimate. I mean, nobody can stop Thunk right now.
Yeah.
He's starting to hit his stride.
That is absolutely insane. Also, you got to look at Dreadful. That was insane macro from him. Seeing the York top lane and then everybody else was in the bot lane. He's like, okay, I'm just going to run mid lane.
Yep.
No one's there. They have no inhib.
We've-
If you're not going to answer me, I'm going to end the game. And they
Exactly.
had to answer him. And then he was able to TP and keep the York out of the fight the entire fight. So they were playing down a man the entire time. And then at the end, able to save Jakimbo.
I mean, we've seen this happen so many games before. This is kind of like
Yeah.
his trademark. You give him Fiora, especially in those late game objectives where people kind of just assume that everybody's going to be there, right? We
Yeah.
kind of assume that it's going to be a 5v5. We assume that, people are going to have a big fight to try and team wipe here. But in reality, he's going to take the wave prio that he has,
Yeah.
force the teleport out of the Yorick backwards. He has the teleport back in, and like you said, perfect timing to save that Anivia, save Justin there. Get that kill.
Now the gold lead is not as bad as you would think it is just by looking at the at the kills, right? But still in favor of Valpo, a very big advantage. looking like Dreadful is gonna recall to answer to the top lane gank.
Yep. I mean, you have to be careful. Yorick still is a side
Ari
laner.
stunned. Ari dead.
Ari just gone.
Deleted.
1055 on the E from Anivia. My God.
And the ult coming in from Fiora.
Yep, trying to dash over the flash over the wall.
That was a big flash.
Yep, huge.
Oh!
But the R over the wall from Vector as well. Vector
Huge
goes down
stun.
to a ton of damage. Trading 1-for-1. Misfortune picking up another kill. The R coming out from Victor.
Yeah, you just back up now, right? You just take these kills,
Yep.
and then you back up the 2-for-1, and then you just slowly start to build this goal lead up, and then look to end. You don't have an objective up for another minute 20,
Yep.
and that's when you go for that Baron and then look to end the game.
And it looks like, I mean, going for the, yep, there's the GA on Fiora.
Yeah.
So now Fiora's side lane has become infinitely stronger
Now
because
you have to
she's
kill her twice.
exactly, she's able to dive now, right?
Yeah.
There's no we already know how aggressive Dreadful is. Now that he can dive under tower, get revived and just dash back out after he kills you, it's kind of dangerous, especially considering that mid inhib down. Obviously, probably going to spawn back up in a little bit, but even after it spawns up, still just being able to take that wave prio.
Valpo still needs to look out for this Jinx. This is a full build Jinx, right?
Yep.
Very, very, very strong.
The rapid fire cannon, the bloodthirst, there's so much range and shielding that you have.
And all Jinx needs is one kill to get excited and start going crazy in the team fights. So it's important that you shut her down early in those team fights.
Yep. I mean, we saw Anivius, MF Jakimbo trying to wall off that Jinx,
Yeah.
right? Use the chances and use his abilities to not so much as just one-shot her, but stop her from being able to sink back into those lines.
Now, what I'm a little confused about is why this Ari is alone split pushing in the bot lane. It feels like this really
Nope,
isn't...
and MF Jakimbo getting shot here, and that's a huge
That's
shutdown
huge.
going to Volibear. Dreadful trying to counter that here.
this
Vector
is
being
huge
caught in
from
the
Vector.
stun. Jinx getting a lot of shots off. I mean, that's half health right there.
Yeah, Yorick now pushing in the bot lane. Just having free roam. They have to answer.
They really do have to answer this right now. I mean, Dreadful walking up here, getting the dash over the wall as well. Firehawk walking up, another dash. Another dash.
Another
Just
dash.
trying to get another one of these vitals. The dash over the wall.
Another
There's the
dash.
shutdown on Yorick. And that stops them. A huge Bard R and the huge ultimate as well coming from Thong. The exhaust going out on that.
Thonk also
As
having
well.
GA.
Dreadful getting
Shutdown.
that shutdown as well. Thonk picking up. And there's going to be the Baron.
Yeah, that looks like it's just a free Baron. Oh!
And Dreadful
over the
jumping
wall,
over the wall,
Dreadful.
picking up that kill as well. And it's going to be Baron coming up here. And that's going to be Baron take for blue team. We have to be careful right now. Valpo may be able to just finish this right now.
Yeah,
If they
they're
run
pro-
this mid lane with their team, with the Baron buff, they may be able to just finish this game.
I think they're just gonna look for the free Dragon Soul.
Yep, free
and then
soul,
you
10
just,
seconds.
And then you just run mid, right?
And
you
that
run
may
mid
be
with Baron.
that may be the championship. If they can just get this soul really quick and immediately speed this in, no backs, no nothing, take your wave, especially with how good it is right now. You have that Jinx, that mid wave. The dash over the wall, this could be huge to get a pick. Dashing over, getting rooted, another dash.
He has the GA. He's not. He has to
Yep.
back up though. Just playing safe, right?
And the
you now have
Chemtech soul.
You back. You get your items, and then you look to end.
Yep, and now just not having that wave anymore. Now is the time that you would look to back. Just running away. Bard getting back here, and this could be it. This could be the game.
Yeah, you're now seeing Jinx really going in to the blue side jungle, really just trying to find anything
Yep.
at this point. You have to find something if you're BU because you're down Baron, you're now down Soul. You basically have to pray to make it for 5 minutes to get this Elder, but I don't know if that's gonna happen.
Yep. I mean, you have to play this survive game again, right? You can't push and you can't force any more fights. And with Jinx, right, you want to get that first kill. You need that first kill to
Yeah.
get her scaling. You need that first kill to get her going. But because you can't force those fights anymore, you kind of have to wait for a misstep from Valpo. But Valpo right now is playing their game how they want. They're controlling this team. They do have a 5-man stack coming in this river here. The dash in, the flash from the Volibear, jumping in on MF Jakimbo. MF Jakimbo probably with the stopwatch. The R coming in from Volibear. Jinx kind of shooting on this Vector. The R coming out from Fortune as well. Jakimbo being shot in the back, but getting picked off.
There's that one kill
Dreadful.
that Jinx needs.
Yep, and Dreadful. Here he comes. The R and the shutdown on Jinx as well. The R over
Finish.
the wall on Volibear, getting that kill. Vector, or Dreadful jumping out of that. A double
Vector
kill
dead.
going from Vector. Vector being able to join back in this fight. A double kill
Ori,
from
the
Dog
last
Senpai
one
as well.
alive.
And that could
Can't
be
stop
it.
him.
That could be it.
If you're Valpo, you just run down mid right
Yep,
now.
you
There is
speed
no one
right now.
stopping you.
You speed as fast as you can with
Ari
Dreadful.
recalling, having to stop 4 people. They have the wave.
Yep, and that's not going to be enough with the reefs on timers and with the wave. I can almost confidently say unless Arvy's going to 1v9 this game, that Valpo Esports League of Legends is your NECC 2022 Fall Champion. Ladies and gentlemen, hey, we came here, first time going into the finals. This is exactly what we wanted. We came into a game, we played our game, we made adjustments from that game too, and there's really not much more you can ask from our team.
Yeah, absolutely massive from Valpo. Just coming in, dominating all season, all playoffs, and then coming into the finals.
The undefeated season.
The undefeated,
Season.
undefeated season, looking really, really good in game 1. Had a really rough game 2, right? But
Yep.
still very, very close. Absolutely stomping game 3, and then winning this really, really comfortably game 4.
Definitely. I mean, that's what we were waiting for. That's what we expected. Valpo Esports being able to just cap off a good win here. Just have the door open really quick. We do have Dreadful popping off on the Fiora. Welcome, man. Welcome to the stream. Pop to my left here. Yep. I mean, we saw every time you pick Fiora, we immediately think side lane, right? Side lane, side lane, side lane, and we saw that dangerousness there, right? Taking that Yorick pick as well. 70k damage. Gameplay speaks for itself, but what do you think was the biggest takeaway from this game?
I think the biggest takeaway is that after game 2, we learned that we needed to have the side lane pressure,
Yep.
and we just committed to that with the Gwen and the Fiora picks, and we resolved to never let them kind of split push against us like that again.
Yep.
And I think it ended up working, and
Damn. I mean, I hope so. Yeah. No, but taking that side lane pressure like you talked about, getting that GA, just playing with your team wise, being able to push that lane, kind of how did you want to play with your teleports? Were you trying to bait out that Yorick? Were you trying to just use it offensively or
I felt at one point that when I was trying to TPing to the fights, I
Yep.
was getting there too late, and so I resolved to instead like kind of push the waves and then walk to the fight and then TP the respawn. I was trying to use it more reflexively,
Yep.
and then a couple of times I used it to get a couple flanks off and be able to get some team fight wins that way and get onto the back line.
I
But I
mean,
think it was more reactive.
definitely. And it spoke for itself, right? The team play character, really just an amazing season from you guys. A flawless season coming in. It was about what, 10-0 for the finish off this game, right? 10-0, winning the championship, sealing out what you guys needed to do. Nothing more that we can ask of you guys. Just amazing season. But that should be it for our Valpo Esports NECC fall season, coming out on top, first seed championship, going 10-0, having an undefeated season. Amazing play from these guys. It's been so fun watching you guys just evolve over the season, and I can't wait to see what you guys have for spring. But that's going to be it for all of us in the booth here. Thank you guys for all your support. Thank you for all the follows, the watches. Thank you for coming out and just supporting us, right? It means the world. We love reading your chat comments. We love seeing your messages. And we hope you guys have a great day. Go Valpo.